Another Game 7 loss for the Leafs. Call it Groundhog Day. Call me depressed, but not necessarily for that loss. It's more just because it's the end of an era, the end of the Core 4 here in Toronto. Hello and welcome back to The House That Happened, sponsored by Shuey's Bar and Grill, the only place to be in suburban Etobicoke. Voted 4 times the best dive bar in all the GTA. It's number one in our hearts. The Phoenix rising from the ashes. Hi, I'm Andrew Milani.
Hi, my name's Cruz. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Considering. I mean, hey, you know what? I woke up this morning.
Okay, that's good.
I got a beautiful girlfriend that cares about me.
Yes, I see that. The sun was trying to come out. I tried. Red, Champions League's on this afternoon. It's a wonderful thing. That's good because when you rewound, I'm glad you mentioned the word Groundhog Day. Because
you only mentioned it 5,000 times.
It was amazing
this week to
being
me before the
in
show.
North Etobicoke on Monday morning on the great Queen that gave us that wonderful holiday. God bless Queen Victoria. Giving us that day. And I was going to go out, and I usually say Happy Monday. Everyone knows that. And I couldn't say Happy Victoria Day. But as soon as I got walking through the streets, I looked around. It was Groundhog Day, bro. It was Groundhog Day. I could see how the cars were moving. People say, hi, how you doing? Hey, how you doing? Oh, that's a Hab guy. Fuck him. I'm not saying they said that. And I wasn't like being condescending because, come on, I'm from the House That Happens. I wanted the Leafs to win, guy. You know that. I didn't want them to have the double fall down.
As you're smiling through your teeth right now.
No, I'm not. And I'm sorry for laughing, but it's like, hey.
Your evil laugh shines again.
Listen, if you bring the bullies home and they make out with your girlfriend, smoke your weed, drink your brown whiskey, and you got to Uber them home to get saved, you've been punked.
Wow.
Twice. Bro.
I mean, that's how playoffs work. You have to have the bully come into your house.
Okay, well, there you go. So I was just talking to some people because, so I'm going to just be, as a disciple of the Montreal Canadiens, we just got back to the playoff scene, which we're going to be discussing along the way here. So after 9 straight years being in the playoffs, is this worse than that 3-goal lead you lost in the 11th, in the third period against Boston?
No.
What?
The game itself, no.
This is not worse?
Yeah, because there was no hope. There was no tease.
Wait a second. Okay, since we got there.
We're going to discuss hockey a lot after. This is
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just going to have so much fun because I'm trying to be empathetic to all the great Leaf fans that I know out there, okay?
Oh, I'm looking forward to it.
Okay.
Give us a like, give us a comment, and subscribe, please. It really helps us with the algorithm. As always, we begin with our shout-outs.
Yes, isn't that a great way to start the show? I got a really silly shout-out, okay? Because this is just out to all the fans out there that just want to be dedicated and call themselves disciples and stuff. Excuse me. Do you know who Hans Perez is?
No relation to Sergio Perez, I take it?
No, unfortunately. But you seen that video clip where he was outside when the Knicks won and they were going to the conference finals, and this guy's a Pacer fan.
Oh, the guy was getting garbage thrown at him?
Yeah,
oh, poor guy.
Exactly. You know what I mean? Did you heard what happened, correct?
I did not hear of any aftermath.
Okay, here's the thing. God bless him. McAfee somehow, some way, tracked the guy down because they want to see if he's legitimate and shit. They got him on the McAfee show. The guy's got a Pacer tattoo on his arm since he's been little. He just said he thought he'd go out there and feel the energy because they say when the Knicks are winning in New York, the city's alive. That's all you've been hearing. Well, we'll talk about the Knicks later. The present situation. But in this particular night, the city was rather excited. Probably like after game 2 in Toronto. Excited?
Yeah.
Okay, just use as reference. And anyways, when they brought him on the show to talk to him, they brought on Haliburton, and they're flying the guy up to Indiana for game 4.
Oh, nice.
Isn't that cool?
That's cool.
So shout out to him for representing and just reminding fans, you can yell, we can diss, we can trash talk, but that was borderline mob rule shit, man.
That wasn't borderline. That was just stupid.
Okay. That's
having garbage thrown at you? Come on, man.
Oh, I couldn't believe it. That's just reputation of your city. So Toronto, the good as we are, don't ever represent like that ever, please.
Please
Thank
don't.
You okay?
We're already building our own reputation, and we'll get to that a little bit later. Unfortunately, we have to give an RIP to Colts owner Jim Irsay. He died at 65.
Yes, that's very, very sorry. You know what? That means I'm a bit older than him. But I didn't live the same life as Jim.
He had some other problems.
Okay, Unfortunately, it's son who's got the team from his dad, who was probably one of the more, I don't think he was a controversial owner, was he? At times, yes.
Moving the team in the middle of the night?
Okay, that's okay.
That's pretty controversial.
Okay, he had a few other things that going wrong, but he didn't go Jerry Jones crazy about getting attention, and I think that there's not a player that after this happened that didn't come out and have good words to say about Irsay. Mm-hmm. That's including Peyton Manning, the Vinatieri's, Reggie Wayne's, McAfee himself, all these guys said no matter what, because, whatever you do in your own life, as long as you're doing whatever it is and you're not hurting anybody else, sometimes we all get a little bit crazy, but God bless Irsay because he was a good owner. And not only that.
Got to 2 Super Bowls?
And not only that, they said later on, not when he first got in there because they treat him like the young punk guy getting into the room.
Sure.
But he was in the room long enough with the owners that he garnished enough respect that some of the changes that were made, he barked. Like he listened to his people and said, go into the room and say this. So I think that's why the players have respected him in a weird way like that, if you know what I'm saying.
Right. Yeah. Keeping with the NFL is officially going to the 2028 Olympics for flag football in Los Angeles.
Interesting.
I mean, we kind of figured it was going to happen.
Brady, the quarterback, right? No. Stop it.
No.
And I love you, Brady. Love you. Just love you. Mahomes, maybe.
Allen, we'll see.
Until he twists his ankle.
Don't say that. Knock on wood. Come on. And the tush push is not banned.
Okay, we're just going to give this 30 seconds to think about this tush push thing. If they had banned it, it would have been weak. It would have been against any principle of football. I hope this is the last we hear of it.
It's weird though, because pushing.
Stop it.
Hold on. Pushing was banned 20 years ago, and then they unbanned it. Right?
Okay,
so I get it because it does look a little bit like rugby. So that's the only argument though.
Okay, say it was.
I don't know. Just get your defensive coordinator and be find a way to stop this.
That's what I'm saying too. You know what I mean? It's now a football play, and what you're supposed to do is stop the football play. It has been stopped at times. It's just that some teams are more successful at it than others, which means they've built some guys along the line that know how to get lower, well taught by Jason Kelsey along the way, so they say. But in any event, I hope we don't hear about it anymore.
I don't. We'll
I hope we don't hear anymore. The vote was a little closer than I thought.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When you're concerned the issue, but it's a football play to me, and if they had taken it out, they're already trying to make the game softer. I was watching some old Pittsburgh Steeler, my favorite Jack Lambert guy, films the other day. Oh, I seen 5 penalties. Anyways, I regress.
One last thing with football. The FBS is changing their format, so this is college football. So now the top 4 teams, regardless of conference, get the top 4 seeds in the playoffs.
Come again? What was that?
So remember before it was the top 4 conference winners got the bye?
Yeah.
Now it's just the top 4 teams regardless of conference. So you could have 2 Big Ten teams that get the bye or 3 Big Ten teams or whatever.
That's interesting. I knew it was going to come up. I didn't see the result. I guess I wasn't paying attention. I must have been playing guitar. But you know what that means? Remember this. All 4 teams that got a bye last year lost their next game. Mm-hmm. It's are they going to tighten up the schedule? Because they said it was a little bit too long for those boys to be sitting around. So
maybe.
I caught. Well, anyway, someone's got to be the top 4.
Exactly.
So we'll see till next year.
Pressure is a privilege, I'm told.
Yes.
More on that at 6. Any shout-outs for you?
Just one kind of negative shout-out to the Baseball Hall of Fame. Where is it in Cooperstown?
Cooperstown,
I forget
New York.
the name is. Okay, we already ran through the whole Shoeless Joe, Pete Rose thing last week. We know our position on it, know how we're going to feel. Suddenly, they're going to say they're not going to talk about this for 3 years. They're going to let it gestate or some shit because it's just the passing of Pete Rose. I mean, the guy was. Look, he was barely cold, and then you said he's okay to come off. And then now you're going to say it's because of the recency, which is such a hypocritical thing to say when, how long has Shoeless Joe been dead?
A long time.
End of story. Anyways, when we hear the sporting organizations and they try to tell us about this is the reason that we're doing something, why don't they just say, they're fucking with us? Is that the word? Or you're just playing lying, or the truth is you didn't want Pete Rose in until he was dead. So let's make his family wait a little bit longer. It's a game now. It's gamemanship. You know what I'm saying?
Unfortunate.
Yes, very much so.
The French Open served up from Roland Garros. That begins tomorrow. We're going to be keeping an eye on that. Of course, next weekend, we're going to have a full report on the early stages there.
By the way, we should have checked out who won Monaco, or is the final tomorrow?
The race?
No, the tournament. No, the tournament. The tennis. That's the big leading up to it.
I can check that quickly.
I think that's what it's called, or is it the one of those opens, Monaco, or it's Spain or something?
Well, they have like a bunch of ones on
the
clay.
big ones now, but I think
like
it's
I know
over because
Paulina Lee, she won the Italian Open.
That's right, but she's
weekend.
great on clay, so she's going to be one of the favorites, regardless. Maybe I'm wrong. Anyway, we won't spend too much time.
I don't see any Monaco.
It must have been last week. I
forget
forget the name of it. But it's a huge one. Maybe it's a Spanish Open, but it's got a different name. Let's not waste time
Either
on
way.
it. We'll get to it. We should have a little bit tighter on the like some predictions, but maybe we'll make a little odd during the week.
We'll see.
Okay.
Moncton won their series against Rimouski for the QMJHL title. They, of course, we mentioned already that both teams already in the Memorial Cup. That began yesterday in Rimouski. Medicine Hat beating Moncton beating Rimouski in the opening game of that one by a score of 5-4. Gavin McKenna had a goal there. London and Moncton will play today.
I'll be keeping my eye on those games. They're quite interesting. By the way, and we've never brought it up, but really quickly, what do you think about the host team always getting a shot at the Memorial Cup? Isn't that all Canadian as all Canadian can be?
How's it all Canadian? I don't understand that.
Well, if you're Rimouski, you automatically go to the Memorial Cup. If you're Windsor,
the problem is it's like it's a bit of an odd format because there's 3 leagues. Okay, you have the winners there, and then 3. That's a little bit of a weird number. Okay, let's throw the host in there.
Yeah,
I'm not that.
No, I'm not either. Well, it's a tradition of the Memorial Cup, but don't you think it's kind of interesting? And a lot of times, the team that gets it seems to be a team that, like Rimouski's, they weren't junk.
Well, I mean, that's done on purpose, right? Because you bid years in advance, so you don't want to show up to the Memorial Cup when you're hosting as a garbage team. No, you want to be good by that time.
Okay, but then who says you can guarantee that? Interesting.
No,
theory. I like your theory.
No, but you can't guarantee that. But I mean, you can
put
get
all
as
your
close
efforts
as possible.
into doing there. Yes,
Yeah.
Got you. I just think it's something cool, Canadiana. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Like, if you want to say, what do we do? Good things Canadian? Because then they go, there's not series. No. Did you show up, you play, you win?
Well, you already played 4 best-of-7 series to get there, right?
Thank you very much. So here we go. Get it over with. I think it's brilliant.
Yeah, I think it's a cool tournament. Shout out to journalism for winning the Preakness last week in the least prestigious, I guess, of the Triple Crown, but still part of the Triple Crown nonetheless.
No, what's his name? What's the horse again? Sovereignty?
Yeah, that one.
What a bunch of, you know what? What it's done is taken the credibility away from the Triple Crown just by that horse not showing up. Why do you think you have a Kentucky Derby? You're supposed to you go for the Triple Crown, don't you? What is this, load management and Triple Crown? Then you can't win the Triple Crown.
Well, so these horses are also investments, right?
Yeah. So what?
It's not your money.
No, but I'm just saying, and they all come from Secretariat. What was it?
Yeah, no, that makes me laugh. Like, how do you know that these are like descendants of Secretariat? Is there like some sort of like certification? Like it's a piece of paper, like, oh, this is like the Secretariat stuff. You know what? And like this, Like,
no, they go to the bank of Secretariat, and they freeze this shit, and they said, hey, here's some Secretariat shit.
Yeah, how they know it's Secretariat though? How they?
I don't know. I don't want to be the one handling the product.
Me neither.
Okay,
me neither.
I'm just saying that, but it's kind of takes away from the Triple Crown when the Kentucky Derby winner doesn't show up.
Sure.
You know what I mean? It's a drag anyway. Another weird thing that goes on in life.
We'll be keeping an eye on the Belmont.
Yes, we will.
That's going to be later in June?
2 weeks.
Yeah.
In 2 weeks, which means that it's going to be the Kentucky Derby winner will show up. Come on.
Maybe. I'm not sure if they even will. And then you have your San Fran Slugger report.
Oh, gee, thank you very much. I took some notes here, and I have to be responsible for the fact that I struck out with the bases loaded and 2 outs. No, it isn't. It's just brutal. Just want to say
just
one
learn
thing.
From your mistakes. That's what matters.
Yes, I was too excited. It was 20 below out there, bro. It was freezing. It was a Tuesday night. Wind was blowing, no rain in the air, but we were cold and we stayed warm. Thank God the other team was more in a disarray than us. However, from the week before when we were 0-2 and looking like shambles, everybody showed up. Everybody knew their positions. Okay? How would I put it? Mr. Kevin Pick made his debut, played outstanding, covered me up, because you know what? I got no legs anymore either. I got to get loosened up for the year. Couldn't get to a couple fly balls. Hit the ball hard, but everybody on the team hit the ball very well. Won convincingly. We found our infield defense.
Nice.
Which doesn't include me. Okay, unless I'm on first base, there's no reason for me to be in first base anymore. Hide me in right field. Bo and I had the right idea. My son, I love you. You had the great idea for the lineup, but your old man's going to be stuck in. And I'll play deeper so they wouldn't hit it over my head or pick on me like that freaking guy with the
Rover?
No, that's only for Led Zeppelin. Remember that. However, I'm going to state this emphatically. I'm glad everybody was ready, and I'm glad everyone's swinging the bat. And I'm going to tell you guys, just swing during the week. Swing anything. You get loose, and look what happened. Everybody made great contact. John has been outstanding on the mound. Our nearly 70-year-old pitcher.
Wow.
He's been outrageous. We got to tell him to take a look around so he doesn't get his head ripped off. He just throws across the plate, does a good job, and we're all there. The only one thing I want to say about the Sluggers, and to my loving son who makes the light up, in the history of baseball, when you have a hitter like Cody McDonald, he better not be hitting fifth no more. Okay, he moves up to second or third. Yeah, automatically. I understand because you know what? My son is nice. He wants everybody to have a fair share and balance the lineup and all that. But secretly, everybody wants to just get kicking ass. So in order to do that, we cannot have an inning go by where we might not get Cody's bat.
There you go.
Right? Agreed? Thank you.
I subscribe to the theory that you put your best hitter second.
I thought about that too, but maybe third because we got a couple guys that can hit in front of him again. Moko was great at number 2 hitter this year, but I'm going to call out my son. He's hitting the ball harder. He hit behind me this time, which was rare. But your bat's coming around, son. Eventually, you're going to have to go to second or third just to show your moxie, right? He's a Cruz. Come on, let's move up. We play this week again at the same place at 6:30. Should be a good time. Great camaraderie, great spirit. Got Mr. Crockett playing out there in left field, a new guy on the team too. Glad to have him in pick. It's a good thing.
Any more shout-outs?
No, can't think of any right now.
All right, so we'll move us over to this NHL Stanley Cup Playoffs, where, of course, we must begin with the Toronto Maple Leafs. That Game 7 against Florida. Leafs just laying an egg in this one. I mean, there's nothing else really to say. The first half of the first period, Florida really came out dominated. The Leafs, I thought, punched back well that second half, like the next 10 minutes there. But once you got to the second and third period, the team just broke.
Listen, the question is, what was worse, Game 7 or Game 5?
Probably Game 7, because Game 5, at least you can maybe blame them. Oh, there's the bug going around. I'm not gonna. There didn't look like a bug going around Game 7. That was just a bad game.
No. One of the things you got to remember about this too, okay, and everyone says Game 7 and how much you play in Florida. This is their third year being in the conference finals and 2 years in the finals, and look like it's going to be 3 in a row now. Well,
they're looking like they're going to win the cup again, honestly.
Oh, no, those guys out west going to have something to say about that, but we'll get there in a minute.
I don't know.
There's just a certain thing that's going on there when we're talking about the first 3 games. Remember when the Leafs were coming off the wing and breaking it up the middle? Florida just kept clogging it up at the last couple games more, so the Leafs couldn't have the breakout, which they did, because every time it got wide open, then Florida would shut it down because they go, oh shit, we can't play like that. The Leafs are faster enough. But here's the difference in the game. There's the little things you got to remember. All those Florida freaking forwards finished their checks. All the Toronto forwards just made sure that their guy was moved to the outside of the ice. Moving them to the outside.
I would say Toronto guys were finishing their checks, but like
who took the most hits in the series?
Tanev. Tanev, yeah.
Okay, so you wears you down after 7 games.
Agreed.
And who was hitting back their defenseman like anybody was hitting Tanev? Who was hitting? Nyes was usually like that, but we know Nyes got a little banged up for late in the series, and that's a drag. But who was really going into the corner with a fierce forecheck and hitting guys?
I don't even think that was the issue, though, because I think the Leafs were doing a good job finishing their checks. You know, they were getting their man, but like it was just when they had the puck, like trying to like start up the attack, they just look at like a deer in headlights. Especially like a lot of the defense looked lost out there, minus like, I don't know, maybe like Ekman Larson and Benoit are the only guys I'd give a pass to that game.
I don't know. I'm just looking at it this way.
I'm just saying,
they could have hit back
like
more. The aggression. It's all about the aggression and what happened when you're in your house.
I thought they did a fine job with that.
What?
I thought they were hitting back.
Okay, so what I did is I had it on the PVR and I looked at the first 6 or 7 minutes twice, and you're right. The Leafs were but what I really noticed, I was watching individual guys, and the difference really is when they're going into the corner, Nylander skates his guy off.
Nylander, yeah.
Nylander. Bennett tries to run you through the freaking boards. That's happening in the series. By the time you get to Game 7, that's got to make a difference. Tanev wasn't himself. I bet you he got some minor tweak or bang here because he was really taking some shots. Olenek, he started taking some chances trying to open it up offensively to get the things there, and that didn't work. Same with Benoit. He tried his best, which is going to be the question when the season ends. What are you going to do about Mr. Riley? Are they going to keep the same 6 guys that they've got right now on
I think you're kind of stuck with them.
I wouldn't say you're stuck with
Well,
it.
I mean, like,
I
was looking at, like, free agent defensemen out there. I mean, maybe we should be saving this conversation for a little bit later, but, like,
okay.
There's some guys available, but in terms of, like, I don't know, getting rid of Riley, I think, is a dangerous prospect.
Oh, I do too. Well, then we'll hold on to that because we'll talk about the roster in a second. We're just going to say that, okay, we know you got your ass kicked. We already made my jokes about it. It's really bad. Sorry for you, Leaf Nation. So what do? We have the immediate fallout. Now, before we go anywhere, and I will
just say, like, I don't think the team was as far as people thought they were. You took the champs to 7 games. They're fucking running through Carolina right now. I think the way the playoff format is, I think it makes it look a lot worse than it is. Because the power in the Eastern Conference, it's all through the Atlantic these last few years. Boston, Tampa Bay, Florida. I think
Toronto.
Sure.
Okay.
This was the de facto conference final, really. The results sucked in games 5 and 7. I think organizationally, that is something that you definitely have to fix.
Okay, so
mind you, we're making progress there because before we couldn't win.
No.
Hold on. No. Listen. Before we couldn't even win a playoff home game these last few years. Period. We got games 1 and 2 settled. Now we got fixed games 5 and 7. There's progress.
Okay. We'll get.
Rome wasn't built in a day.
We'll talk about this, Mr. Pelly.
Rome wasn't built in a day.
Buddy, you got punked in your house. Where was the energy? Where's the fight back? Why didn't someone punch someone in the head? Why didn't you stick somebody? Well,
because we talked about this. These stupid penalties, you can't take those.
Okay, but even then, there was no penalties in Game 7.
I agree.
There was no penalties. So
you're gonna hand Florida a power play? Stop it. Stop it.
They hit you. You got to hit back.
Okay, there's a difference between hitting and slashing someone like you're suggesting.
I'm not suggesting. I said
you just said that.
Okay, then I will
listen to the tape.
Okay, then I will rephrase it. Nylander skates someone comfortably to the boards to get him out of the play.
I thought you're a Nylander fan.
I like Nylander.
Now all of a sudden you're picking on him after they lost. No. You're just like the rest of the Toronto media.
No.
Am I talking of Cruz or Brian Hayes?
Okay, but I'm going to tell you this. You got to understand. Bennett, what would he do to the defenseman? He would drive himself into frickin' Tanev. What would Marchand do? So your guys are getting hit, and the other Florida defensemen are not getting hit. Over a 7-game period when Tanev's getting 126 frickin' hits, bro, he's getting more down.
They play like the champs we didn't.
Did Forsling get 126 hits? No. Did Seth Jones get hit, what, 50 times, 40 times? And Tanev got a hit 126. That's what I'm talking about, bro. That's why I'm saying, where was your team then? They wore you down and there was no fight back. That's why your team's got to go. You had no bite. No matter what you can tell me, I'll give you Game 5. Everybody was sick with the flu. I'll give you that excuse. But we got to Game 7 now. You showed
you're going to be saying that about we're going to be saying that about a lot of teams playing Florida. You guys look at the big picture.
It was the way you lost. If you lost 2-1 in overtime or something, I could take your argument. But getting punked.
Well, we were 1 goal away in Game 3 from the Leafs winning this in 6.
Okay, so I'm going to even tell you what the karma for me, as we talked about this, and I hate to bring it up, was that goal that was in the air like in a bad cartoon.
Oh, the Marchand Game 7 or Game 3 winner.
Oh my God! When you see that going through the air in the slow motion
playoff hockey, though.
I agree. So what I'm saying is that. I don't know what's going to change, and I'm with you because we're going to get back to the structure of the team. When we were talking about those defensemen, I still think that's going to be okay. You change the way they play next time. You won't get fooled again. There'll be a little bit more hitting. Guys will get out of the way. Like Tanner's a tough guy. He was going to take it at first. But you forget how much you're taking over a period of time because you're still the tough guy on the team. Who was the second most hit guy? Not Carlo. Oh, yeah, not Carlo. McCabe, second
they play
most.
The same pair.
Yeah, so they were getting them both. What was we telling him, wearing them down? Now, let's not just say that everything was negative, because Benoit's stock went up.
Oh, agreed.
You know what I'm saying? So
I thought Scott Laughton, despite not having many points there, I thought he played a hell of a series.
That's going to be one of my points. When they were not getting the effort that they should, I thought maybe they should have put the plumbers out there. Why did you only give Scott Laughton 13 minutes? Why didn't you give him 17 minutes? Maybe he could have been the spark that give you a little bit more. At least when he was on the ice, he was a plus player.
I'm really interested to see what he does next year. Full training camp. He's going to have a chance to earn Ruby's trust.
I think he'll be a plus on your team. But here's the problem. He'd either have Holmberg and Jan Krok, who hit half the time. I'm watching them. What they do, go in there. I'm watching the film, bro. I'm rewinding. Jamrock hits the guy one time.
I thought Jarnkrok had a pretty good series once he came back.
Not bad. And Holmberg, sometimes he hits the guy. Yeah. Sometimes he doesn't. The consistency and when they go up and down the wing, when the game's getting a little bit going and they're banging, they're clogging up the middle. If you go back and look at the tape, you will see the Florida guys consistently hit the Toronto defensemen. The Toronto forwards did not hit the Florida defensemen as consistently, and in my theory, wore them down, but I don't know where the bite was in the freaking Game 7. I'd be swinging my stick, man. I'd be a psycho out there by them personally. Because I mean,
and you give your team a penalty.
I would have got a misconduct and got thrown out. Because I'd have been just freaking
Congratulations,
furious.
Now you got to kill a 5-minute major.
Well, that's, if we're down 4-0, I'm just going to show you I'm not going to go out with a bang. And I didn't see anybody out there showing me.
I'll also give Domi a pass for that game as well for scoring the lone goal for the Leafs.
Who, Max?
Yeah.
Look at Max. They had to put a governor on him for Game 7 so he wouldn't get in trouble. You could see smoke coming out of his ears. The only guy on the bench. When they went down the bench and you look at the guys' faces. Domi looked like he was going to chew some freaking cement when he was sitting there. I do admit that the Lawton home grid, those guys looked like they were pretty angry too. But the other guys always looked at that passive-aggressive look on their face like you don't know if it's the first period of Game 1 or the 7th game of the conference finals. You know what I mean?
think really things unraveled, too, because the guys, they knew it was over. And not just the series, the era of the core four.
Who says it's over? Pelly?
Marner's words say it's over.
Okay, so anyways, we're going to have to deal with the fallout. So let's discuss. We're going to go
Yeah,
to the
so
fallout.
Marner's gone. His comments were not made by someone coming back, and I can see why. The fans really turned on him, and this goes back to his contract negotiations, his second contract. He misses 2 days at camp, and things just never recovered. All of a sudden, it was fuck this greedy bastard. That was the word on the street, right? Right?
I don't think that he maybe was respected enough. Okay,
yeah, 100%. He's been the team punching bag since, and has been on the receiving end of harassment, both on social media and in real life.
Got his car stolen at Sherway Gardens.
Oh, there we go. Fans bring up his dad to him and his role in the negotiations. That's just offside. Bring your family into it.
100%.
And, I mean, we all know about Marner's dad, but come on, man. To bring it up to him in his face and on social media. No, you're being an idiot.
Yep.
The extreme incident with the garbage and golf balls and the Habs gear being thrown on his cottage lawn.
Oh, I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, and then fans screaming at them on the street. And then there was an alleged incident. And of course, Marner's family members being harassed with DMs online. That's the worst. Happens. That happens a lot here in Canada with our hockey fans. Doesn't matter if it's Edmonton, Calgary, Vancouver, Leafs, Montreal. It's a disgusting thing. And I'm gonna get a little bit more about Canadian teams not winning hockey championships for club championships in a long time. And of course there was an alleged incident, or maybe not of course, but there was also an alleged incident after Game 7. No one's exactly saying what, but something nasty went down by the arena.
What about Marner?
Yeah.
I did not know that. I've heard shit, but it was alleged. We don't know. Are we going to say no? Because we're
Chris
not.
Johnson alluded to it on his podcast. He didn't say, I think he just wanted to move past it. He was just but he was something happened.
Yeah, I don't know what happened either, but they danced around it. We won't know. And you know what?
I mean, we saw what the scene was in the arena. Also, I want to get on Leaf fans for this. I hate that we're becoming the city where you throw shit on the playing field. We saw with the Blue Jays 10 years ago, the beer being thrown, it almost hit a woman with a baby or whatever, or it hit the woman with a baby. Either way, just disgusting behavior. Someone threw a beer on the ice, and during play too, people were throwing shit on the ice.
I'm not about any of that.
Come on, Toronto's becoming that city. Come on, guys.
Well, I can't say because
no, it's disgusting.
People aren't as stupid as you think they are. They're stupider. Yeah. I get that, but here's the thing. Okay, I don't know what happened at Game 7 because I heard a bunch of stuff, and I'm not diehard enough to delve into this because my first thing that I said to you is, as we're going to take Mr. Marner, and everybody knows if they're listening to this show how I feel about Mitch Marner. You know, I'm a dog walker. We've gone through that whole procedure and all. I've said to you a number of times that be careful what you wish for. So what I've been doing in North Etobicoke, the heart of Leaf Nation, every time I go out and I'm walking down the street, I'm looking for that tree that grows 100-point scores. That you're kicking his ass out of town faster than you can believe, okay? Because you're going to get rid of a Ferrari and you're going to get back probably an SUV on sale from the frickin' used lot. lot. Okay, remember that. Be careful what you think you're wishing for. I wish Marner all the best, and I'm not saying it's quite over, and I'll give you reasons why as we go along. I'm not saying the door's closed.
all of his post-series stuff, it was all past tense.
Yes, it was.
He's not coming back.
It was, yeah, you know what I mean? But we'll see where he's going to go. And that's a drag. You're right.
He's going to the Islanders or Utah.
Really?
Yeah.
Islanders. I don't know about, because he doesn't care about the tax. We'll get to that in a minute. Just get to, because that's one of the pieces of the domino is going to fall. But the first domino, should we go there? The first domino that fell, as we know, obviously, Shanahan.
Oh, yes. The president of the Toronto Maple Leafs for the last 7 years.
11.
Excuse me, it was 11. Slip of the tongue. Will not be back. His contract was not renewed by MLSE. Perhaps not too surprising. If you believe Elliot Friedman, he was saying that he thinks that this move was going to happen basically regardless of them going to the finals or not. There's been word that hockey ops, not only hockey ops, but like the whoever's around the players on a day-to-day had gotten pretty bloated. So
I hear that every day.
They need to cut the fat there.
Okay, I agree with that. So
I think that's, so if you're spending whatever money around like that and it's not yielding results, then yeah, they're going to go for your head.
Well, yeah, they're going to go to the Elon Musk school of whatever it is you do to clean up. But that's a different story. The bottom line is, regardless of what the situation is, everybody knows one thing about the Toronto Leaf organization. It's first class top to bottom around the league. Everybody knows it. Okay, so maybe some of the things were there to accentuate what is great about the Toronto Maple Leafs, and it became distractions. I don't know. So, okay, we're going to cut back on all of that. And as we cut back on that, we have a new man that says that Shanahan's got to go. First and foremost, I really say this, and we talked about this on one of the shows. The reason that you get 9 years in a row in the playoffs is because you have a consistent front office that's motivated to get you to a certain place. Mm-hmm. What Shanahan's failure was, not Shanahan's, it was the players. Players let him down, and that's what happens. You can't fire everybody. Well, they're going to fire Marner, but outside of that, you know, you can't fire the team. You got to fire somebody. And how many years in a row? 9. And like they call it the Shanahan plan.
Well, and he put his faith in Dubas as well, who tried to go for his head. That proved to not work so well.
Okay, yeah, because I don't know. So then that's just where we're going to see where Tree Living is going to go. Yeah. Just a second. But before we end this on Mr. Shanahan, I think that when you look back on this era, hopefully you don't look back on this era like this, because in the future you're going to get something better. You're going to get to a conference finals. You're going to get maybe even win a Stanley Cup. But no matter what you tell me, because Brendan Shanahan's from Mimico.
Yes.
Okay, and not only they're from Mimico, I don't know if you ever went to the Blue Goose. It was a famous bar down by the Mimico GO station there, but it's gone now. It's going to condos. Mm-hmm. But when you used to walk into that place, the first thing you would see was his brother with the Man Cup. You know what the Man Cup is?
No, I don't.
Lacrosse national champions.
Okay.
And Shanny with the Stanley Cup. Sitting there. He's in his Red Wing uniform. He's in his Man Cup uniform. And it was always heard, word around the campfire, because he met his brother. It was like, boy, we wish we could have that picture in a Leaf uniform.
Of course.
Okay, so no matter what Shanny does for the rest of his career, which I hope it goes on, and he's been very very graceful about his departure.
Well, you know that he would.
Okay, whatever job that he has the rest of his life will never exceed his 11 years as being the top guy in Toronto for the Toronto Maple Leafs. The team that drives the engine of this city. Yeah. Or the engine that drives this city. You know what I mean? We're going to miss you, Shanny. Hope to see you around.
Yeah, I mean, whatever I don't know if I'll say I'll miss him, but.
Okay, so you got to look at the things that who made the ultimate decisions.
Just this is Keith Pelly.
Okay, before Pelly.
He's the new sheriff.
Okay, well, the new sheriff. But before he got there, who made some of these decisions? Maybe somebody wanted to keep Kadri. Maybe somebody didn't.
Apparently he was pissed at Kadri. He was one of the guys that wanted him out, which I don't understand considering his background and especially his reputation as a hockey player. You think you'd want to keep those guys with some bite. There's the old adage, I'd rather have the guy that got to reel in a little bit than the guy that got to kind of push out the door, right?
I didn't understand it either, except for the fact that
it was a panic move.
We're
getting Tyson Barrie, who ended up being like one of the worst experiments ever. I can't play well unless I'm on the top power play. Oh my God, that was embarrassing. And we had to throw Riley down the second power play. It was embarrassing. It was such a mess that was. The year we ended up firing Babcock, that might have been the biggest mess of a Leaf season with this group.
Well, yeah, it got a little bit crazy.
That was a crazy year.
And that was a little bit earlier in his career, his tenure that he was. So you could tendency make knee-jerk reactions.
Not that. I mean, it was midway through. So.
Midway, whatever. But you could have made a knee-jerk reaction. But if you just seen a series like they had right now, everybody says, what could they have used? They could have used a Kadri. They could have used...
of course.
Hyman. They could have used him. There's a few guys around the league, but that's a chance that you take. You can't keep everybody. And like
the Hyman one is a little bit. That one I understand a little bit more because that was like a free agent situation. Like you would have had to back up the Brinks truck. You had to draw the line somewhere.
Right? That's what they were saying. But they were in
I can live with that one more than the Kadri one.
Oh, okay.
Especially in a salary cap world.
Well, what they were saying is that there's just something about the guys that come to play that want to play for the Toronto Maple Leafs. They want to put the crest on their chest because they're hometown guys and they're starving to get a cup just as much as you and any other fan, any Brendan Shanahan, anybody around. They're really, really going for it. So when you have the chance to keep these homegrown guys, what decisions do you make to let them get through your hands? And so I've heard that's some of the...
especially when you draft them, yeah.
Exactly. So that's some of the little bit of kick at about Shanny making those decisions. But I will say this, people, and I'm going to harp on this for a long time. Last time I checked the 9 years before, or check the 11 years.
Oh, I know.
Before Shanny was in the house. Check the 11 years before that to 11 years now. Now, I'm wrong on this.
Do you want to get into the... sorry, please finish.
Okay, then I'll let you see what it is. I always thought that MLSE has a little bit of a... I'm not saying they're bean counters, but they like to make money.
Well, look at the owners.
There you go. So I think that Shanny made this team a bagload of money. Is someone upstairs
I'm sure he did find new ways to explore like revenue growth, but like he was also spending. If you're spending too much money in hockey ops and it's not yielding results, like we said before,
the playoff gates alone for the two series is a bonus for any team in the league.
I get that.
So, but he's only done it twice, whatever the case may be. I'm just saying that I think his tenure should be looked at more as a success as opposed to a failure.
Oh, I'm not beating the guy down. I hope that what I'm saying doesn't come off like that.
No,
I don't think it is. But
good. Because all of a sudden the slant, because a lot of people revered him around the city because they didn't want to step on his toes because he was that part of the organization, including people in the media. But now that he doesn't have that clout, people are throwing darts. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's
what
a
else
bitch.
Is new?
Yep.
Yeah. Should we get to the pressure conversation?
Oh, you mean talking about Mr. Keeks? How long did you listen to that press conference?
I listened to almost the whole thing.
Did you?
Yeah, just like some of the questions. Once it was like towards the end of the questions, I turned it off because I think I got what I needed.
Well, anyways, everybody was saying that the got your attention. I've heard it repeated. But
this was a conversation coming into it, so I mean, he had to address it. Right?
Okay.
But, I mean, so everyone's like, oh, well, the media, the whole narrative. I guess this all starts from after Game 7, Paul Maurice and Brad Marchand basically saying that he basically called out the media. I guess the media is more than the fans, but, I mean, this is an issue with the fans, too. They're kind of interconnected and have this weird codependent relationship, right?
Disingenuous bullshit, but continue.
What? With Maurice?
No, yeah, they have and Marchand and Kachuk, but continue.
Well,
continue.
I mean, Maurice has been there. He's seen it firsthand.
So they did chase him out of town.
I agree. But pressure is just simply the wrong word for it. Pressure, like it's beating down these guys like at every fucking turn. They stub their toe, boom, panic at every turn. This isn't pressure. This is fucking insanity we're talking about here with the media, with the fans. The media especially plays a role in it too. It killed me. So Carlo Koliakovo put out a statement on his Instagram being like, oh, I don't know about this narrative that the media puts pressure on the team. Like, I'm just doing my job. 12 hours later, not even, TSN 1050, the radio station that he works for, put out a 9.5-minute video on Instagram putting together interviews of Marner, Matthews, and all those guys after each playoff loss of them being eliminated. I'm like, what the fuck do you call this then? It's just
kicking them in the balls
when they're down. Like, and the media plays no part. Shut the fuck up, Carlo. You know what you're talking. Like,
by the way, don't they put them over on the French channel in 10:50 in the morning and places like that because they can hide away? Because I don't know how that guy got his job.
Carlo?
Yeah,
he must know a guy.
That's what I'm saying.
That seems to be how it is on TSN radio.
Oh, over there somewhere because I don't give him any credibility at all. And that's a two-faced way to be because you know what? He's ass kissing when he's in the Toronto alumni box.
Oh, of course.
He's on the air and he's dancing around saying shit like that. Fuck you. That's disingenuous too.
Yeah, their radio show. I won't get into that. But there's pressure and then there's fucking toxicity that's been here in Leafs Nation. Honestly, as fans, I think we need to start holding each other accountable. We're about to throw Marner out the fucking door.
Yeah.
Come on, guys. Like,
Yeah.
he should have gone down as the best GTA-born Leaf of all time. Number 16 in the rafters.
Yeah.
On this trajectory that he's on, he could have been number 1 all-time in Leaf points. Number 1 in Leafs assists. Like, I don't know. Like,
I think I've always been a Mitch Marner guy, and I think that his development even this year, I think he played, okay, the problem is the way you guys went out. So whatever I'm saying now, there's 100 people that are going to jump on it and say, what about this playoff and this playoff? And then it goes on and on and on.
But
and on,
it's not just Martin. You win as a team, you lose as a team.
Exactly.
Putting like all the blame on, even like the other way around, putting all the glory on one player, that's not right.
Okay, so
and then we put all of it on Marner. Like, come on.
You know why? Because all the other guys are under contract. And you know,
but again, this goes back to that negotiation with Marner. He's been the scapegoat since then, since 2020.
I remember when it went down in the training camp and the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
So they're not saying anything because guess what? As we're speaking, we know that Tavares is going to get a sweetheart. They're going to make a sweetheart deal. And if Tavares,
well, hold on, we'll get to that later.
But
These are our guys. We're supposed to be supporting them. Say thank you for another winning season, 9 in a row. Instead we get these guys, oh, fuck these losers, fuck them, these guys don't do anything. Like we're some entitled fans who are owed this shit. That's not how sports works.
No.
We should know this. Come on. No. I understand the frustration, believe me. I was there in 2007 when we lost on the playoff spot by 1 point. I was there in 2010 when we finished dead last with our first round pick. I was there in 2012 when the 18-wheeler went off the cliff in the final 2 months. I was there in 2013 when we blew that 4-1 lead to Boston that no one will ever let us forget about. I was there in 2014 when we went from third in the conference to missing the playoffs in the final month of the season.
Yeah.
Andrew Raycroft, Vezina Toskala, Jeff Finger, Mike Komisarek, David Clarkson, Ron Wilson, Randy Carlisle, John fucking Ferguson Jr. Jesus fucking Christ. We thought James Reimer was going to be the savior. That's how desperate we were. We've been spoiled. And we forgot how bad things were and how good things are now by comparison. Guess what, guys? Winning the Stanley Cup is the hardest fucking thing to do in this sport. And a Canadian team hasn't done it since 1993. How long before we stop blaming other people and we look at ourselves in the mirror and realize that maybe we're part of the problem, myself included?
Maybe, I don't know. You know, the real, I love what you had to say, man. Let it go. I hope everybody heard that rancor all over the city because I'd rather take it like that than you're not dragging the team's dick in the dirt. I know you're disappointed. You see what's wrong, but you're not going to jump on the bandwagon because you know what about all these losers that say that shit?
I've had enough with this hate.
They're going to be front row when training camp opens up.
I know.
I know. So I would never.
Or at least by playoffs. It may take them a little bit to get back in the bandwagon, but game 1 of the playoffs will be right there 100%.
Well, the problem is, Guy, it's like I'm going to say it again, and I hate to be this way, but it's the way you've gone out. When someone likes a team, is dedicating this much, and you know how fickle fans can be. But if you're hardcore losing your mind, this is everything it's going to be, and you get completely, like if you lost in overtime, whatever, shit happens. But you guys got punked, and that's what they're going to use, and that's why.
But you got to think big picture, though. You took the champs to Game 7.
Yes, that's a positive.
We're going to be the only team to do that this year. Mark my words.
Okay, so I'll take it one step further, as I was just saying. What Marner has done is it's got the fact that we don't have to say anything to Nylander. We don't have to say anything to Matthews because they're all under contract, so we don't want to hurt their feelings.
But that's not even true. That's disingenuous.
What's that?
That's not even about the contract thing because Marner, again, he's going back to the contract.
I agree.
Yeah,
But now he gets to be more of a whipping boy. When they lost last year, they ganged up on everybody more, I thought, last year. They ganged up more. But, I mean, Marner's always the guy that gets it worse. So I'm just saying this. I wish he'd go to Montreal, but he's not.
He's not going to go back. Okay. He's not going to stay in Canada. I just feel like, and people are like whipping his dick is like, oh, this guy's such a fucking asshole. Like, we had the chance to trade him for Ranton, and he's going to stay, and he's going to walk anyways. Well, guess what? He had he's had a baby on the way. What, he's going to uproot his family for you?
Nope.
Dumbass, shut up.
No. And that was all weird thing that went down. Now there's rumors that they asked him twice. I don't know what the other one was. Did they really ask him about Rantanen? That's a confirmed?
I don't know if they said it was for Rantanen, but they apparently asked him if he was going to waive his no trade.
I heard it was casual. Would you be interested in?
Yeah.
And he said, "Fuck you."
Especially to go to Carolina. No offense to Carolina, but like that is not a team that he fits their system. The only way I can see him going to Carolina is if they move him to center. Even that's a crazy proposition.
No. He's good just where he is.
Exactly.
I just say my theory of this show, especially talking about the Toronto Maple Leafs, is this: be careful what you wish for. Because first of all, as a matter, you start the season next year, you got pieces. Like I'm saying, you got all those defensemen signed.
Yeah.
A lot of teams don't. You probably have the best goalie tandem in the league when you start the season next year.
It's up there.
Both signed. So you got 6 defensemen, you got 2 goalies.
70, don't forget Myers.
So you got 7 guys, 7 on defense and 2 goalies, all with tenure. You don't even have to worry about them next year. Nylander, under contract. Matthews, under contract. Domi, under contract. You got to extend Nyes.
That's going to be fine. I mean, he scoffed at the idea of an offer sheet, which I love.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably going to be, I don't know, somewhere in the range of a 3 to 5 year deal.
8?
Depends on the length of the contract. If it is the 5 year, then yeah, I would expect 8.
Yeah, that's what I'm expecting too. But this time now, is this the first year of Matthews' new deal? Or next year?
I believe
It's
it was
next year's new deal kicks in,
Was it
right?
next year? Let me check Puckpedia. I could have sworn it was this year.
Okay, it's this year. So in any event, he only took 5 years, right?
Yeah.
So you guys got 4 more years of Matthews. You know that, right?
I'm aware.
So that means that makes him 32. He's got lots of time to go.
Yeah, this was next year is when it kicks in.
For 5, right?
Wait. Oh, no, this year kicked in. So he's got 3 years left.
Only 3 years after
I thought it
this?
was a 4 year deal, yeah.
So you've only got 3 more years of Matthews.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll be 31 with lots of time to do something with somebody else. See, Toronto, you can be high in the hill 1 second and nobody in no time. And by the way, what is it saying about Mr. Pelly? Does that mean who makes the decisions now, like we're talking about? You say you think Trey Living did a pretty good job in Calgary.
I thought so.
And Berube's going to be definitely coaching. He did a good job, but he didn't get him over the hump either. The thing that's ironic about it that makes me say is really funny.
Well, the team made a lot of strides under Berube, so I think you got to continue under the program.
The system changed alone, and where you got in a steady style, I think you lost it in those last 2 games. I don't know how you picked it up in Game 6, and in the middle of Game 6, you had that Stardust game. Like, wow, you should have played like that. That was a great game. You guys played your asses off. Was that running out of the tank? I don't know. The thing is, I'm going to keep bringing up that I think is hilarious. Not hilarious. Could be ironic. It could be a lot of things, but Berube is such a Marner guy.
I mean, who isn't a Marner guy who's coached him?
Okay, that's what I'm saying. So you're going to be
maybe
in the room.
Babcock.
Okay, so what it is that Pelly's already had a dinner with Berube and things have gone really well. I'm wondering what Pelly's position's really going to be because he's going to be king of the city.
Yeah,
bro.
but he's going to be staying out of hockey ops, he said. He's basically like, I'm going to let Tree Living and Berube do their thing. Obviously, they're going to have to go to him for certain things, but he's staying out of it.
Pressure is a privilege, right? I'll believe it when guy, did you hear me at that press conference? You know basically what I heard that he was saying? I'm the man, and I'll let you guys know when shit's happening, okay? Oh, I got my minions, and they're going to take care of things for me, but I'm the fucking man. Dude, come on. I love this confidence about it, and you could hear the passion in it because he's a Toronto guy, too.
Well, and
he wants to win, too. But every other guy sounded like that, too, when they came in. Shanahan sounded like that when he came in.
But the difference is, though, MLSE, they needed that strong voice at the top that's really been missing since Lywicki. What's his name? Kilmer Sports. What's the other owner?
But they said it was better not to have a Lewicki when they got rid of him. Now they just bring another one back.
Says who?
Well, I don't know.
No, but you look at good sports teams, they have a strong leader at the top, a strong owner. Obviously, it's corporate ownership for MLSE, so you need that strong chairman. From my viewing of sports, that's the way I see it.
Okay, and I don't have any problem with that because he doesn't own any. He must own shares or something.
I mean, I'm sure he's got some options.
I'm sure, but he's basically a CEO. Okay?
Chairman, yeah.
Okay, he's not a Tannenbaum. He's not like one of those guys with money. He's come in and he's being.
Well, he's a hired gun, yeah.
Oh yeah, that's not a bad thing.
No,
that's not
I
a bad thing.
I agree.
And his track record of improving product with which he's been involved with, it speaks for itself. I get it. I got at the press conference, which I thought was kind of cool, is that he says, "I'm the man. We want to win. I want to win more than you. Pressure is a privilege. We're going to bring this." Blah, blah, blah. And in the dressing room, which I really believe is the only place where you should be. The only pressure should be in the dressing room. But it's interesting going to be seeing because now we're going to see what Trey Living can really do because as you were saying, maybe he was a little hogtied by the owners in Calgary at the time.
I think he's been doing a fine job here in Toronto.
So far, so good. It's going to be... It's all going
last offseason, I think I made some tidy moves. The offseason before, I made some swings with Bertuzzi and some things. Didn't work out, but I mean...
Well, I'm just saying right now. What I'm just saying right now is which we just discussed. the 7 defensemen, the 2 goalies, the big guys up front. You got pieces signed. When you go into the season next year, you're definitely going to be a playoff contender.
Up front, there's work to do.
Oh, definitely. But we're going to see now.
Yeah.
Another thing I'm saying about this is Mr. Pelly, who's saying how quickly things are going to come. Has he ever looked into the cupboard now? Because what's going to happen here when you do free agents and what you're going to be looking at, what's on the board, and you're going to have some money to spend, including where the cap goes on.
Yes.
Okay. But now you're going to say you got to be careful what you're doing.
So the cap going up, that's basically going to be taken care of with the Nyes contract.
Okay. So now you're going to be having the $11 million you would have spent on Marner. And you're going to probably have to take $5 or $6 million
from Tavares.
From the Tavares thing. So you're going to have around $20 million to play with. Probably a little more, they say, depending who else you're going to be dancing with.
Yeah.
But the players that you have around the league you're going to bring in, are they going to be the ones that take you over the top? That's going to be the question. And who do you got coming from the farm system besides Eastern Cowan?
Well, Eastern Cowan, I mean, he could still be playing with the Marlies next year. You don't want to rush him, right? I mean, maybe, who knows? Maybe he's playing with Matthews day one of camp in September. I don't know.
Oh, that's a long ways away. But I hear you. I hear you, what you're saying.
My point is, who knows with that, right? And you can't really depend on, I mean, how should I word this? You can't view it as a sure bet that your prospect is going to make your team.
Can't bet on potential.
Exactly.
You see it on the ice.
You hope that's going to be there eventually. But,
yes.
I mean, the Leafs do have shown that they like to let their guys overcook, as it were, in the minors. So I think he will be starting with the Marlies either way. But look at the Leafs. So the big question marks are, Tavares, is he coming back? I heard they're working with him. I know contract negotiations weren't going the best during the season.
No, because you know what? Here's the problem with Tavares. He's not going to go there. The guy just scored 37 goals, bro. Mm-hmm. Oh, he couldn't keep up in the game 5 and keeps having the skating. Every time they lose, how come Tavares can't skate? When he's scoring 35 goals, he's great on the team. I don't get it. And that's media. Once again, beating the shit out of guys.
I would love for Tavares to come back.
What?
I would love for Tavares to come back on $6 million deal.
Yeah, but I mean, I think they're trying to get him for less, which he may go for. But they're only going to give him 3 years.
That's fine.
I know, because, you can't give him more than that.
Well, because at his age, right? That's the thing.
Exactly.
He's 34.
He's 34?
3-year deal.
3 years deal, but then he wants the 8 for 3 years, and that's a little bit rich for his blood, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, so the calm down deal, I think they say it's got to be 5 or less for him to stay in town. And you know what's not a bad deal?
If that number begins with a 5, I'm okay with that.
Okay, but here's the deal. What if he's your 4th-line center and you're in the conference finals 2 years from now? It's not going to be a bad thing. His skills are not going to be that eroded.
I think 3rd-line center is a little bit more realistic.
Still, you'll think his skill. Okay, that's even better then. What more do you want? With the cap going up, then he'll even be a more friendly prospect because you're going to need guys. What do you need in this playoff? You need guys up the middle and defensemen that can move the puck forward. Somehow,
and guys that can score, and Tavares can score.
Okay, exactly. And the other deal is, Riley was supposed to be your guy that would be that consistently move the puck out of the zone. But who was it this year? It was more Ekman Larson. It was more Tannen McCabe, but you didn't have that.
Well, no, Riley was that guy in that pair. No, but I mean, how many of those guys are in the league, right?
None, but I'm saying...
I made a joke about getting Quinn Hughes in the offseason, but...
That'd be nice. Going to Jersey.
Not going to happen, yeah.
Going to Jersey.
That's another problem for Vancouver, I guess. Pacioretty, he might call it a career. That's the word.
Oh, why not? You know what I mean? He's going to... Because how many games did he play? Didn't even play the required ones that we thought he'd say. If he played 50 games, he played 37. And as much as you think that he was a big difference in the playoffs, he was just a big burp. He was okay. It was nice.
I don't understand you Habs guys with your hatred of...
I don't hate him. I'm just saying that's the way it is. You go down the lineup. So what I'm saying
10
is...
points in the playoffs? Come on.
This is all great for me because if the Leafs are weaker,
I love
that's
this.
just that the Habs will be sneaking up on you even more. Someone that you said wouldn't even make the playoffs, but that's another story. The bottom line, when you go down this roster... I'm just warning you guys of all the good things that you had, because I was around too, and I'm older than you. So I remember all those other years that you guys were crying after, like when Quinn would leave town and then you sucked for a few years, or Burns would leave town, you sucked for a few years and all that shit. You're in a good position. It's how do you sustain it? And sustain it means consistency, and I don't know where the consistency is going to be now. I'm wondering about the Raptors, if Masai's going to stay around.
Well, consistency, what we just talked about, though. The goalies are going to be back. The defense are
going to be back.
Matthews is going to be back. Nylander's going to be back. Domi's going to be back.
Was the organizational chi going to be all in the same direction? That's what you hope for. Because you got to hope. That's new personalities.
Lawton's going to be back. McMahon's going to be back. Nyes is going to be back.
Is that enough, though? Then it's going to be the same story.
Well, you got to build in the offseason, too, right? Let's finish up guys in our roster that we think are coming back or not.
Okay.
So we mentioned Tavares. We mentioned Pacioretty. I think Steven Lorentz is gone.
I do too.
For a fourth
Nick
liner.
Robertson is
Hold on. No, I'm not done. I'm not done yet. So for a fourth liner that you want to replace him, I want someone with a little bit more bite, someone with a little bit more of a screw loose. Lorentz is a fine player, but he didn't have that, like, you know what I mean?
That's exactly what you thought you had it. Sometime during the season, I thought he had it.
At times, it wasn't consistent enough for me. Even in the offseason, I'm like, oh, can we get an upgrade? Or it's like during the season, you're like, oh,
you need guys to hit in the corner sometimes.
Robertson, I think they got to move on from him.
Oh, I feel he's going to go right to Montreal, score 30 goals. I love it.
You think the Leafs are going to trade him to Montreal?
He's unrestricted, right?
No, he's restricted.
Oh, he's still restricted? Oh, I can't wait to see. This is going to be the one. I want to see how this plays out.
Okay.
It's probably
this might be a be careful what you wish for scenario.
On both sides. On both
I'm
sides.
saying for you.
Okay, look, I love the guy. Just
Robertson, he's a fine player, but again, he goes off on his own little adventures, which is frustrating.
Because you can't have two Willies on the team.
But he's not even as good as Willie.
But he doesn't get the guy. No, but I mean, what I'm saying is, one of the things that's gotten Carolina to where they are, we're going to talk about it too, is shoot the goddamn puck, guys. Come on. Not enough shooting at the puck. Robertson's at least going to go to the net. And the consistent line, we went through that whole thing
not
already.
Not in the system, though.
Which they didn't leave a consistent line with the guy like look at the team playing. Look, you go to Florida. Those top 9 guys, we're getting to know them on a personal basis by now. Look at Dallas. Top 9 guys. You're starting Edmonton. Oh, they all did that. What did Toronto do? Well, we'll mix and match. See what works with Willie today. Come on, stop it. That's one of the reasons out there. And I say that if he's not a Blue
Leafs kept
guy,
the lines consistent though, so I don't know what you're getting at.
No, they didn't. Sort of, kind of.
What are you talking about?
They had the top 2 lines are based. No, because they kept changing for Willie. They bring in Holmberg
because they change one winger. Every team does that.
And then the third line got
Florida did that
around.
in that series.
They flicked it once and then went back.
Well, they changed who the left wingers were in those top 2 lines.
Okay, then you look last night. It was right back. You look at where they were.
Okay,
last
but
night. But that was
they're changing it. So I don't get what the issue is.
You change it.
It's a problem for them. It's a problem for us, but not for them. Stop it.
No.
We're talking about who's coming back, who's not. So I don't know why you're getting up topic. Holmberg, I said before, I don't think he's coming back, but the more I think about it, I think he is coming back.
But he's got another year in his contract, doesn't he?
No, but he's got 1 year of restricted. He's got 1 restricted year left. I think they just play that out and then let him walk.
So what happens if he doesn't make the team? He can't go to the Marlies, right? Then he
got put him on
waivers then, right?
I think he will make the team. I think Berube likes him too much.
Really?
Yeah. He keeps playing him on the second line.
Got no scoring touch, though. He's got a little bit of grit.
No, he does score. He scores some big goals in the regular season.
How many goals did he get this year? Did he get 10?
We'll see.
Did he get 10? Come on.
He's got a nose for a big moment.
Oh, yeah, okay. What, every 42 games? Stop it right now. I hope he got 10. I kind of like the guy. Did he get 10? Somebody says.
He had 7.
Then.
19 points, though.
Stop it. You're trying to convince
For a guy that's going to come in at under $1 million, I'll take it.
Okay, so what are you going to do with the Marner money? Who's out there? You're going to sign Sam Bennett? How about Sam Bennett? Why don't you sign Bennett?
Hold on.
You can afford Bennett and Marchand.
Took the words right out of my mouth. Brad Marchand's coming to Leafs. That's a guarantee.
I would be, you know what? I would frown upon you guys if you thought of doing anything such as, that means you just let the fox right in the henhouse. You know what I mean? He wants to have an affair with your mother. Stop it. Yeah, don't bring that guy home. Come on. Would you really bring Marchand?
He's a winner.
I couldn't see it. Can you see Montreal signing Marchand?
I'm not talking about Montreal. We're talking about the Leafs.
Okay, the Leafs would do it.
He said, even in his interview too, he was practically saying that he was
disingenuous motherfucker.
I grew up a Leafs fan. No, he's coming here.
Oh,
it's gonna happen. Bennett, I don't know. Because they're saying he might cost $10 million. I would say either him or Brock Nelson.
Okay, Brock's I think you're a better deal, but you'd want the Bennett. I
think I'm worried about the Bennett negotiation getting stupid this summer. It's going to be a dumb bidding war for him.
And here's the real deal: look at his age, and look at wear and tear, and look at his size. I think someone's going to get burned on him. First 3 years, it's going to be great, but 4 years from now, when you're paying him $11 million, he's playing 40 games a year because his tires have come off.
He's going to get like a 5 or 6 year deal. The front half's going to be good, but like you said, the back half.
The guy's what, 5'10", 5'11"? Built like a fire plug, but you still get wore down. Those guys get wore just for the way that he plays. Mm-hmm. Just a matter of time. Marchand comes to Toronto. You seem to be not having a problem with that.
No, I don't.
Oh my God, I can't wait till that
You
happens.
need a guy like that.
You know
what?
what?
He proved this series that like, I think he's still got a lot to give. You could say he's slowing down, but his game doesn't rely on that. I think you could pair him up with Tavares. That'd be a very dangerous line. Pregnant pause.
Yeah, because I'm trying. I was just thinking about my mom and the lesson she taught me. Yeah, nothing good to say. Shut up. Come on, bro. We're
No, come on. It's gonna be like
Marshawn.
that. Like what's that? It's gonna be like Tombstone. Come on.
I just seen Tombstone the other night. I watched it again. It's so good. It's just so good. You think he's going to be your Huckleberry?
Yeah.
Come on. Okay. No, I don't know. I wouldn't see that happening. I don't think another guy that was talking about you guys are bringing for grid is that Cousins guy. I don't know if I think that he'd be a good fit on the Leaf team.
Nick Cousins?
Nick Cousins. Yeah.
No, he's a bum.
That's what I said. I heard his name.
I don't think he's good enough.
Oh, well, that's what I said. I don't think he's the type of guy, but I don't know what you're going to do with Marner money. You don't know what you're going to get in the draft. You don't know what you're going to trade. You don't know really what's going to go on because they said at times that Shanahan was such a believer in a core four thing, which I would have been a believer into. Mm-hmm. It just didn't get across the finish line or as far as you wanted to go.
Yeah, they couldn't build it well enough around them.
So my theory is I think the Leafs take a step back before they take a step forward now.
We'll
Unfortunately. See. Oh no, I can't see it unless I don't know. I like the one like the crazy things that I hear every day. One of them I heard, which I thought was complete madness, is of what if we traded Slavkovsky, Suzuki, and a first round pick for Crosby. And I said, God, that freaking meth is a bad drug, man. That's a really bad drug. I seen that. You see, because that's what kind of crazy shit's going to come up now.
I would be, to be honest, if I was a Habs fan and that trade did go down, I'd be upset about it.
I'd be flipping. I'd say, Sydney, I love you, but come on. Come on. Wait a second.
You're mortgaging the future.
Oh, in beyond ways I could never imagine. Let's get to the trade deadline, see how Sid feels, but an off-season trade for something like that. But you see, because we're in this market, and you know what? We should allude to that quite a bit because I'm not mentioning no names because I don't want to give anybody credit. But the amount of abuse that this team takes and like already speculating on who they're going to get and that kind of pressure you put on the city, which gets the fan base riled up, and when it doesn't happen, you see jerseys flying on the ice and beers going all over the place. So just simmer down on your rhetoric, because what happens is in this city, look, it was on the front page of the Sun. It was on the front page of the Star. Shit on there, and I go, okay, this is how this city works. Every pundit and everybody knows everything now because they're all freaking experts and live in Toronto and they've been growing up on Leaf hockey their whole lives. So then sometimes why don't you shut up and give us a positive word, because you can't. Because you know what I find about the Leaf thing is when they're a little in flux like that, that's when some of these people will bark more because they can get away with it. But once things get settled down, they get a little bit quiet and pull back because they don't want to lose their privilege of being treated the way they are at the Scotia Bank because they're a professional pundit. Fuck that shit. Stop it, because you guys are going to be the ones that start up all the fire. Because you know when you're talking to some of the shows and the guy says, well, you know, as soon as I heard him say, you know something, but you can't say it on the mic. So don't think that we're not stupid. And I understand their privilege and they don't want to do that. They can't do that. But don't think that we're out here stupid, that we don't get it. You know what I mean? So fire up the trade rumors. And goodbye, Mitch Marner.
So, yeah, and I mean, the one thing that scares me is you don't usually get rid of a guy like that and get better. The one exception is like the Bruins with Kessel.
Yeah, yes, okay. But that's
the only one I could think of. I don't know.
Wow, I'm trying to think. That's an interesting analogy. Mr. Milani, you're very good at keeping that thing in your shit like that in your back pocket. Yeah. That's one. But outside, I've never seen one either. And it's just like in all the other sports. The winner is the team that gets the best player. Well, there won't be a winner. He's just a free agent.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is, we know what you're saying. That's why I say, whatever you guys are going to get, whatever you consider, if Marner's a Cadillac, let's hope you guys get a couple good SUVs. You know what I mean?
Maybe you wouldn't need SUVs to win the playoffs. I don't know. But, like, it's not going to be exactly a super happy summer. I mean, I'm always looking forward to the off season. Like, I'm always excited about like what the moves the Leafs make and across the league as well. But like, losing Marner's a bummer, man. It's a bummer. I'm telling you, I think that things might have smelled a little bit differently if you guys hadn't got punked the way you did. It's the way you fell down. So. That makes it even Leaf
worse.
Fans, I agree.
Makes it even worse.
Unless this team made it to the finals, then
if you had made it to the
Yeah, but even then, like
conference finals, you're gonna fire. Was Shanny been fired if you had won? If you had
that's the word.
Really?
Yeah.
Then wow. Then these guys are playing games anyway. So then they don't trust. Who don't they trust? So that means Matthews is leaving town in 3 years. You're
well,
right.
to be honest, like the way, like going back to my argument before, I think losing in the conference finals is worse than losing in the second round in this format. Because Carolina, come on, we see what how they're being treated by Florida.
Okay, well,
they're about to get swept.
You're right. They may get swept. What I don't understand, and this is Carolina's conundrum to me. Okay, what they're doing is they're starting to look around. They're starting to look around for see who's coming. Hit back like you did in the other series. They got big defensemen. They're not moving. And Florida's hitting them doing everything else, which I thought would wear them down. But here is Carolina's big problem, which they tried to solve.
Well, we're talking about the Leafs, though.
Okay, what's that? Okay,
we're talking about the Leafs.
Okay, but anyways, I'm going to say why they got beat up like that. I think there's similarities, which we'll get to. The same way that Carolina's getting beat, the same way that Toronto's getting beat. Just at least Toronto held up because they won the first 2 games at home, which they should have done. But you know what I mean? But for me, I'm just going to say this. I think it's weird. This is going to be the best soap opera in the city till June 1st or July 1st, whatever the case may be. So we got six weeks. We're going to talk about what's going on. It'll be the soap opera of the city. My thing is this, and I don't care what goes on. If Marner doesn't come back, Toronto Maple Leafs will take a step back next year.
I still think they're going to finish with 100 points regardless.
That's not hard to do with the junk that's in freaking. You're seeing the power coming through the Atlantic. They'll beat the shit out of everybody else. Going to be there, but there's going to be some teams that are going to be improved too, right?
Of course.
So, but I don't think they'll win their division next year.
I mean, probably not.
It could happen.
You got to see what the other guys in the division do. What Florida does, because Florida,
4 years in a row.
I think this is going to be the 3rd year in a row.
But the next year would be their 4th.
Yeah, but they have Bennett and Ekblad as free agents. They're not going to be able to keep everybody.
That's what I'm saying. So they're going to be
this is their last dance.
Okay, well that's still pretty.
That's my prediction.
And you know what? If you're going to be a great team, you got to repeat. And Florida's looking like a great team now. You know what I mean?
I know, and it pisses me the fuck off.
I'm just hoping. I don't know who I want them to play more, Edmonton or Dallas, but we'll get to that
I think
later.
They're going to have their way with either of them.
I'm not going to necessarily believe that.
Well, we'll get to that a little bit later. Matthew's still quiet about his injury. I just hope
he's fine.
I just hope he heals it and he's ready to go for training camp. Anything else for the Leafs?
I just think that it's way disproportionate when they lose and it's a tragic event in the city, how they pick individuals out of the whole pile and beat the shit out of them and then jump on the bandwagon once the training camp goes open.
It's crazy.
Again.
Toronto has a history of that, Frank Mahovlich, Larry Murphy.
Daryl Sittler.
Nah, not Sittler. No, Sittler was him versus the owner.
I know Ballard was such a schmuck. But anyway,
I'm going to trade your best friend to piss you off. What the fuck? Trading away a Hall of Famer there, buddy.
Oh, yeah. No. That was Ballard at his worst. No, but that's what I'm saying. One thing that should be respected, and the reason we could take this much time to talk about it, is that Leafs fans, you should be proud of the fact that you've been compared to the Dallas Cowboys, good, bad, or ugly.
The Knicks.
The Knicks, good, bad, or ugly. You've got national freaking talk around America more than you normally did. Some of it was because of, but everybody knows who Toronto was, and they respect the fan base here, and they respect how rabid the fever of hockey in this city, everybody knows about it, which is a good thing, which you guys should respect and hold on to. Just hope that you have a better season next year than you did this. That's where we're going to leave it.
And, well, let's leave it there. At least PK Subban's happy. I can sleep soundly about that.
A little hard on his hometown team, eh? I don't know who is worse. I shouldn't say that. I don't know. When I seen on the front page of the paper, I knew Steve Simmons is going to be involved. So just name all the bastards that are involved in this. You knew Steve Simmons was going to go. I can't believe Hazy B was as brutal as he was. He is.
Of course, you didn't believe that. Come on.
Because he's the one, that guy that says, the fandom is. He is representative of a good media guy who wears his team love on his sleeve. So it drives him nuts. He's there. And PK. The three of them just were unmerciful. You get your criticism, but they went that extra step, all three of them, just to kick it. And you know what? All three of them are going to be crying when the Leafs win. The day that the Leafs win, Steve Simmons is going to cry, Hazy B going to cry, PK Subban going to cry.
I don't know if Subban's going to be crying.
I don't know, maybe not. But Steve Simmons going to cry.
Was Subban just upset that the Leafs didn't offer him a contract in the twilight of his career?
Do you think he deserved one?
No.
Well, then, sorry, PK, glad you got a second career. Be happy at that. Be careful.
I'm a little bit surprised, too, that he's so hardcore, considering that he's buddies with Tavares, too.
That's what I'm saying, and he's around the city, but
he grew up a Habs fan, so that part I get.
Oh, I agree, but still, to be that harsh, he's still got a residence in the city here somewhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he's around enough.
One of my friends, when she served him, when she was working at Starbucks, she served him in the drive-thru.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. He's around, but it was rather harsh from all the big city people that talk about the Leafs, but they were harsh.
We've been almost an hour on the Leafs here, believe it or not.
God bless the Toronto Maple Leafs, eh?
God bless all the Canadian teams. And also, just like actually, we'll get to this a little bit later. Winnipeg, Dallas, that Game 7. Scheifele, getting the news that his father passed right before that game, still decides to play on, scores a goal in that one. Unfortunately, he gets the penalty of consequence there that led to overtime, and that ended up leading to the game winner. The Dallas owner doing a very classy move, flying him to Kitchener for his dad's funeral on his private jet.
I'm just saying, you know what? Real life always conquers anything in sports. You know what I mean? It's just unfortunate when real life jumps up and bites you when you're paying attention to the event that's going on. And you got to see a real life person dealing with real life shit in the middle of something that they waited their whole career to try to take to the next level. So I really felt for him too. And he was having a good series or a good playoff so far, even though he was banged up a bit. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And Winnipeg went out with a whimper. You know what I mean? But the owner moved too with the plane was cool.
They took Dallas to overtime Game 6. They were a goal away from forcing a Game 7 on home ice.
Did at any time in that series you think Winnipeg was winning it?
I told you, though.
Did you think that series?
Are you going to let me finish or not? I thought this was a podcast, not a freaking monologue. I said last week, I think, when I had a suspicion that Winnipeg was going to surprise people.
They didn't.
So you're asking me if I thought there was a chance.
I heard. I did. I remember. I listened to last week's tape. I should have been quiet and exercised that. So I'll say this personally, and if you listen to the tape, I had no belief in Winnipeg going anywhere. Sorry, and condolences to the Scheifele's, the Scheifele and the Scheifele family along the way. But I had no belief because hella bum was hella bum. Okay.
He showed up at the end though.
He did. He played okay, but what's his name? Who wasn't supposed to be so good because they're questioning him because they questioned him last year. Ottinger's been.
Ottinger, yeah,
he's been pretty good. He was pretty good.
He's supposed to be that good.
Yeah, he was pretty damn solid. You know what I mean? Nobody ever talks about him. Why doesn't he get some more press about what he does?
It's because in Dallas,
they're a pretty big market.
Yeah, but it's not a traditional hockey market.
Because it gets dwarfed by everything that is Dallas and everything that is Texas.
Cowboys.
He's
football,
but he's been I'm not saying he's been the best goalie in the playoffs, but he's been solid as a rock. You know what I mean? That he's been back there. So I'm saying that series has still got a ways to go. But I never expected Winnipeg to win, which is a drag because they were the freaking
President Trophy winners.
President Trophies winners.
Isn't it funny that like the whole Toronto versus Winnipeg narratives, like the Leafs, like everyone's just beating them down. Winnipeg's like, oh, you tried, boys. Good job. You took Dallas to 6.
Wait until they get a couple more years of this. Because remember a couple of years ago when you guys were losing and everyone said, can't wait till next year? You guys are in that spot.
Okay, here's the thing, though. I remember. Hold on. 2017, we played Washington.
Yeah,
I remember that.
Okay.
After that, it was like losing to Bruins in Game 7, and then all of a sudden, like the narrative shifted.
Okay, but you guys used to have that in the Marner Matthews era. In the beginning, you guys had after a season where you lost, y'all had that optimistic. Wait till next year. We're young.
The first season
was it just the first season
against Washington? After that, when we lost the Game 7 to Boston, like that was more 50-50. Then the next season, then after that onwards, like...
What year was it when you guys lost by 3 goals? 2015?
Lost by 3 goals.
When you had the 3-goal lead. Is that
2013? 2013. That was like Kessel, Fanuff, like none of the guys.
None of the guys here. That's what I'm
saying.
Yeah, but that was 2013, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you guys have had a lot to live through in the last dozen years or so.
Never a dull moment in Leaf Nation.
No, that's for sure. That's for sure.
Anything else for the Winnipeg-Dallas series?
No, and like I said, which leads us to Edmonton doing what they had to do.
Yes, so Dallas went on to face Edmonton, a rematch of last year's conference final. Dallas took Game 1, but Edmonton storms back, takes Game 2 3-0, proving once again that Stuart Skinner is the biggest Jekyll Hyde goalie in the entire NHL.
No doubt about it, but you know what?
They got what? They lost 5-2 Game 1?
Yeah, but they got the 3 third-period goals. And you know what? Edmonton got flat that game in the third period. Like they got caught. Like a couple of those penalties.
They lost 6-3 Game 1.
Okay, but you know what? They got, then one was an empty netter, I believe. But in any event, what went on in that game is that for a moment, Edmonton got flat and got caught flat-footed. And there was those, do you call the penalty or do you not? Did you see the third period game? They had to call a couple of penalties. The Hyman one they had to call. You know what I mean? They pulled the guy down. And the other one,
they took some bad penalties, agreed.
Oh, and you know what they always say in playoff hockey? Well, if it gets tight, you got to do this, you got to do that. No, you got to call those. You got, like, they're in front of the referee. So I kind of felt bad for Edmonton when the penalties were going down. They scored the first power play goal. Like, oh, no problem. They're still, like, they can kill this game out. And then the second one with Hyman's was the second one, right? Because that's where everything changed.
Yeah,
it was, And then they went, oh, shit, they scored again. And then you see the ice starting to go.
Yeah, they had that 3-1 lead going into the third period.
Yes. And the first were power play goals. And then the momentum changed. But you know what it was? I love the pace of the game. Mm-hmm. Did you see that third period?
The pace, insane.
The pace, the whole game, I thought the pace was pretty high. I thought the pace last night. And you know what it is? You know what I like about this is that because neither one of these teams have the ability to be stupid goons like Florida. Like Florida goes out of its way to fuck up a good flow. You know what I mean? Like, hey, we're doing good out here.
There's a new Boston Bruins.
Yeah. We can't have it looking. That looks entertaining. That's exciting. It's good hockey. Elbows up, boys. Smash them in the corner. And there's hitting in the Edmonton series. Don't get wrong. I mean, there's like the big forwards on Dallas, the big forwards on Edmonton.
Oh, yeah, of course.
They're throwing their checks, but everything's in rhythm, and they're both doing it the same way. And that makes a difference in there where I get back to my original thing about...
It's actually a skill game.
Yes, with hitting.
Sure.
Skill game. And don't leave
It looks like a proper playoff hockey.
And don't leave your head down in the middle of the ice. You know what I mean? Like, did you notice, maybe because they had a big thing on it, all the pundits were talking about it, because then when a guy gets hit like that, then are they supposed to fight the guy, or is it an old school thing? But you notice guys are keeping their heads up a little bit more through the center, because earlier in the playoffs, a couple guys got leveled. You know, going back to L.A., Edmonton, guy got leveled. New Jersey, who got leveled. But a couple of these games back then, where they were showing the highlights, and they're saying, hey, if you dipsy doodle through the center, you're going
to get beat.
And do you have to fight for that because you were stupid enough to have your head down to get nailed for a clean check?
Yeah.
But I don't. Do you like
that's regular season shit?
Or is it just okay? But you know what? It is true because maybe we're just like saying like that. Did you find by the getting near the end of the second period of the game last night, you just started? I was watching the Indiana game more.
Right.
Well, I'm lucky I got more than one screen. So I can keep them both on at the same time. But I noticed my eyes were wandering over and looking down to see if the fucking Jays could score a run too. But that's another story. But you know, aesthetically speaking, that when we watch Dallas and Edmonton, it looks like not a completely different game, but you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You know, styles make fights kind of deal. You know, we always say that.
Yeah, they're two teams that are built pretty similar going at it.
Okay, so anyways, when we get this all over in our epilogue for the NHL season, we'll talk it right here. Take a look back and we'll say, what series did we like the best that showed us the kind of hockey that we'd want to see on a regular basis? And I think we could be surprised at a couple of series that we'll say. It won't be Carolina and frickin' Florida, though. That's for damn sure.
I don't think it'll be any series with Carolina.
I'm shocked the way Carolina, and look at, they've got Orlov.
I said this in the video we posted.
They've got
So I guess we're going right into that Florida-Carolina series then.
Yes.
I said this on the video I posted on social media with our picks. Carolina's play style plays right into Florida's hands.
Now you see it. Now that you see it. And the big thing is about Carolina, and I could see it now. Who's ever in their management is smart enough, and Brendan Moore too, goes, we need a game breaker. Aho's not a game breaker.
Svechnikov, we thought maybe could be that guy, but he's not.
Was that?
Svechnikov?
He's not. Maybe in a couple years, maybe more, but maybe
he's already like in his mid-20s, though. So, I mean, you are who you are.
30-goal scorer. I'll give you some big games.
He might have a 40-goal season, but I don't think he's ever going to score 50.
Oh, no. If he scores 50, wow, he'll have to have a Hyman jump. Like, it'll be that huge. But I see him as a consistent 30-goal scorer.
Yeah.
He'll go up and down the wing and is not afraid of a big forward. But that's not, they needed the Rantanen. So they went for it. And they gave up Nicis. They could use him now even more. because what they got for him, you know what I mean? But
they got Stankoven, who's been solid for them these playoffs.
Oh, yeah, no.
And they got all those picks, which they're going to be able to use this
Okay, there you're going to go.
So.
But that's what we were saying about before. If you look back on it, because I heard us talking about it before, that we were talking about all the tapes that seemed to come up. The thing about Carolina we didn't like was the fact that they didn't have a game breaker.
Yeah.
And
that's been their problem for a few years now.
And look at now. Here they are again. They don't have that guy that could break it open. Like, nobody's checking Barkov enough. What about you, A.O.? Barkov's having his best.
Well, Aho is way smaller than him.
That's true, too. Yes, I find that.
And now Carolina finds themselves 14 losses in a row in the conference final round.
Oh,
going back to 09. But like
the
last 10 of these losses have been under Brindamore.
Oh, sorry, guys. So then eventually what's going to happen? All the success Brindamore has, he will be a Shanahan type guy too, right? Bye-bye.
Well, maybe not this Shanahan, year, but like...
He's going to go. Like, how many years in a row now he's gotten? This is his third conference final too, isn't it? As a coach, his third conference final. But you're right, though. But they haven't had that guy, right?
Yeah.
Even a 40-goal
fault
scorer?
to him.
No.
I don't think they've ever had a 40-goal scorer under
Brindamore either, no, right? No. See, they need that guy, and you can see it because he might be able to break it over because Florida's just weighing him down. And, like, this is Barkov. Look at Well, then Barkov was playing against number one lines before. But this is Barkov's. I've noticed him more.
Yeah.
He's not against Matthews now. No. You know what I mean? He's not against Brendan Point. You know, guys like that. But, you know, like, and I thought, who's the other center, though? The second line guy's pretty good, too, but they're not holding up.
No.
Not holding up because Barkov's got the Reinhardt, what's his name, with him swinging away. So.
Yeah, so this is also the rematch of 2 years ago's conference final when Florida swept them. Florida just had their way with Carolina in these first two games, a 5-2 and then a 5-0 win last time. Game 3 is going to be tonight in Florida.
Oh.
Get the brooms out.
Oh, like I said, when you got to the end of the second period of that game, weren't you, like, I could barely watching the game. I was watching what? It was OKC I was watching. I believe by then, the OKC game. But it doesn't matter. I thought I picked them to win the series. I thought they would wear down Florida. The big mistake. Missed the boat on this one. Huge. But in any event, we will still watch to the end. And it's like I was saying, I'm arguing with you all the time, and I'll keep saying it about the shifting of the lines. Those 9 guys on Florida, I'm getting to know them on a first-name basis, man. Every guy. I don't even have to look. That's so-and-so. Oh, yeah, that's so-and-so. I like, you know what, a guy that I thought that they got under Monday good money that a team should have is that, what's it say, Verhaeghe? You want a Verhaeghe on your team?
Sure.
You know what I mean? He does a little bit of everything, and he's not dirty. He's not like Bennett dirty or...
He doesn't back check, but...
He tries.
He's got Barkov and Reinhardt with him that do all the dirty work there for him.
Yeah, but he goes up and he'll hit a guy in the corner too.
Sure.
And you know what? And he knows how to get to open space. But you know what? I never thought about that. When you have Barkov and Reinhardt, it gets you open
Two
space.
2 Selke nominees.
No kidding. But you know what? He goes the open space, and he's like, I want him on my team. You know what I mean? I mean, and to say that he's the weakest guy in that line, oh, gee.
I know.
Oh, gee.
We also sorry.
Go ahead.
I was going to say we got to give our props to Seth Jones as well.
Oh, coming over? That's what he needed to do. I guess he was sleeping in Chicago, eh? I guess he was sleeping.
And I guess Columbus before that, too, because I did not see this Seth Jones these last couple of years.
And even the first 10 games when he came to Florida. Remember the first 10 games? He was like getting caught out of position, but he's playing with Buddy now, steady.
Mikulov,
yeah, and they're now they're looking like one of the best pairs in the defense. But Seth Jones looks like the first round pick that he was. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
He's still only early 30s, right?
He's McKinnon's age, so he's like early 30s.
Oh, so they got a few years left with him. Yeah, he's got that contract.
He's got a big contract. He's locked down there in Florida.
Oh, yeah, he bet he's happy now, too, especially with the tax situation.
Sure.
There you go, Seth. And you might get a ring.
There you go.
And I seen his dad with that long look on his face after the Denver game with OKC, but we'll get to that.
We'll get to that.
Popeye didn't look as happy as freaking Seth.
No.
Okay.
So that's it for Stanley Cup Playoffs for now. We got to cover Canada at the World Hockey Championship. So they crushed Slovakia 7-0. Crosby had 2 goals, 2 assists in that one. Celebrini a goal, 2 assists. Keeping it with the preliminary stage, we lost to Finland 2-1 in the shootout. O'Reilly had the lone goal. Kent Johnson was only one of 5 of Canadian shooters to score in that shootout. That's probably going to be Fleury's last ever game that we see him, unfortunately.
Yes.
We finished that round with a 5-3 win over Sweden. McKinnon with the goal, 2 assists. Konechny 3 assists in that one.
I thought after we beat Sweden, I go, here we go.
We had the easy side of the bracket, seemingly.
No
but
kidding, and we took care of Sweden. There was no time during that game, I thought, even when Sweden tied it in the first period, there was no time in that game I thought, no, we're not losing to these guys. But
in the quarterfinals, Canada lost a shocker versus Denmark 2-1. Canada scored 5 minutes into the third, but Denmark got 2 goals in a minute 30 near the end to tie and eventually take the lead in that one. Bye-bye, Canada. Time to go home.
You know, like they have on the front page of the Sun here when we do something nationally on the sports scene first time. This is on the front pages of Denmark papers. You know that,
Of course.
I heard that beating Canada was freaking mega. Now they're even talking about this. That goalie might get a snoop now because the only reason Denmark won was because of that goalie. Mm-hmm. You know, like, and it was tortoise in the hair. Like, Team Canada, we got this game, and they got a few shots on him. Then they got a few shots on him. Then he got hot. Because we were the better team. You see, we were the better team. But that goalie just, I thought this team was going to be like coming home with a party.
Canada does have a history of like blowing or like, just going through the preliminary round, just like blowing through everybody. And then all of a sudden quarterfinals, boom.
We
done.
shouldn't have lost to Finland in the shootout game. Did you see that?
Yeah.
We should have killed Finland. Well, we hit the post 3 times. Saros stood on his head.
But that doesn't matter though at this point.
No, it's all over. And I feel sorry because I want to appreciate the fact like a guy like Crosby still went over and represented our country. That cannot be understated.
Yeah.
All you guys in the NHL, Celebrini probably learned a lot from it. What did Bedard do?
He wasn't there.
That's right. But I heard it was maintenance reasons, right?
Yeah.
Give the kid a chance.
I thought they did say initially that he was going over, though.
But then I heard he had maintenance issues. So, yeah, give him,
he's been beat up enough in Chicago.
I was just going to say, go eat some burgers, get back to the gym. You know what I mean? Don't you think Celebrini's a little bigger than Bedard in a weird way?
He is bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think it's a weird way at all.
Not that much taller, though, is he?
A few inches.
Is it?
I think Celebrini's listed at 6'1".
I did not know that. I thought he was 5'11".
Really? I thought he was taller. Either way.
It doesn't matter. I love the guy. Did you hear the talk everywhere? You're going to have to take a look at him for the Olympics.
Of course.
You know what I mean? Why don't they announce him in June?
Because he plays with San
Sidney
Jose.
Crosby. Nathan McKinnon.
We gave Air 6 already
Kel
last
McCarr,
week.
Harley. Macklin Celebrini.
No. I'm going to give you the 6 right now. That's going to be Crosby, McDavid, McKinnon, McCarr, Harley, Reinhart.
Reinhart, too? No goalie?
No, we talked about this last week. True. Yeah.
Reinhart.
Yeah, it's going to be Reinhart.
No Marner.
He's going to, like we were saying, I think that was just going to come down to like playoff success. Had the Leafs beaten Florida, then I would have said Marner.
But now he's going to be Reinhart now. I got you. Interesting point. Interesting. I'm not going to argue against those. I just give you my theory of why they do it, please.
I know it's a little silly. But either way, a few more things with the NHL. Shovel day off, Jim Nill and Bill Zito named the finalists for the GM of the year.
Both deserving?
All 3 deserving, yep. Former Detroit coach Jeff Blashill gets hired as head coach of Chicago. The coaching carousel rears its head again. I'm not sure this is the best pickup for Chicago considering how he struck on Detroit, but we will see.
I think he was in Detroit the wrong place, the wrong time.
Yeah, but the team immediately got better once they fired him for Uncle Fester.
Yeah. Then why'd he get rehired? That's on his resume.
It's the coaching carousel in the NHL.
Uh-huh. Got you.
Islanders hire former Lightning executive Matthew Darche as their new GM.
Mm-hmm.
So someone picking from the Tampa Bay tree. By the way, Friedman speculates that the Florida tree is going to be picked from pretty soon too.
Really?
Well, third final. It's going to be their third final in a row. Come on.
Yeah. I agree.
There's only one thing left for hockey. And that is, of course, our weekend pick'em. 2 games on the docket this weekend. Last weekend.
I don't deserve to pick. Stanley, come here. Stanley.
But they're worth triple points this week because it is conference final.
Stanley, come here. Stanley.
So last week we were both 1 for 2. We were both on Dallas. We were both on Toronto. Dallas got the win. Toronto didn't. This weekend, so we have today Carolina at Florida. This is game 3. Florida's up 2-0. I'm going to choose Florida.
If you don't take Florida in this game, you haven't been watching hockey.
I thought you might go with Carolina.
No, I was thinking about it, but I keep doing those stupid picks for the whole playoffs saying, what if? Yeah, what if you're a loser making picks? So I'll just put that in my back pocket. You've seen the 2 games, bro. You can't trust Carolina. You know, I
don't.
You know who I really feel for, though? And I was loving him, and I thought this is going to be a chance where he'd even get more flowers with Slavin. And he's getting pushed around a bit out there. He a big boy. What happened to you? Is he getting hit too much, too, like the Tanev theory? Like, all of a sudden, he's looking up. He's not looking like the guy in the other series.
Oh, playing Washington's not like playing
Oh,
Florida.
I agree. Because they just have that mad forecheck with not all the madness. You know what I'm saying, so to speak?
Yeah, and then Dallas versus Edmonton. This is going to be a matinee tomorrow. Dallas at Edmonton, I should say.
Dallas wins those games all the time, bro.
No, Edmonton's going to win both those games in Edmonton.
Okay, I'll bet you a beer.
Okay, so you're on Dallas, I'm on Edmonton.
Yes, you know the record of those games that they play, which is such a weird time, but it's a Texas thing for having the game at that time, right? Why wouldn't they have it at 8 o'clock at night? Why wouldn't they do this or this time? Because Dallas,
it's a Sunday, so Sunday afternoon people are home. That's why.
They say this is more of an American thing. You know that?
Oh, for sure.
Oh, you know what it is? When is the game? Monday, did you say? Or tomorrow?
3 o'clock.
Tomorrow, 3 o'clock. Oh, another reason why? It's Memorial Day weekend, too.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, I forgot. But it's all American, which is cool. Respect there. I wish Canadian teams would get that respect when it comes time for placing games. Hey, Edmonton.
Either way, we'll move us on to the NBA playoffs, where we had a Game 7 to finish off the second round. The Nuggets got crushed by the Thunder, 125-93 in Oklahoma City. Jokic had a big game, 29 rebounds and 7 assists. But he was the only the only other double-digit scorers on that team were Murray and Braun with 13 and 19 respectively. Other than that, it was a pretty quiet day for Denver.
Okay.
Meanwhile, Shea had a 35, 3 and 4 night, and then Williams 24, 5 and 7. So they had some heroic performances themselves.
Well, it got down to what I was saying. I want to give Denver a lot of credit, though, man, a lot of credit, because the way the team was, firing the coach and getting where they were. Now Westbrook is still going to have this on. Westbrook just can't be the guy to help you get over the top, and he played his heart out too. But the point,
he wasn't the issue though.
But he bad shot selection at the wrong time in an NBA game can be a
Westbrook.
disaster.
I've seen this before.
Yeah, well, I seen it too. It was almost Groundhog Day for him. But the bottom line is, the Joker's such a great player. Jamal Murray made it, but it got back to what I was saying. And if you check the numbers of the minutes played in that series, OKC wore him down. Like, I got to give Denver credit. They're the only team. I really think that this was you know, when you get that team, they've got to get that series win to say, okay, we've arrived. I think this is that was the arrived moment for OKC and Shea dragging him along. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because the Joker left his jersey on the field. And you know what? Aaron Gordon dragging his leg around. Jamal playing both ends of the court as hard as they could. But they're running 6 or 7 guys. Freaking OKC was running 9, 10, 11, and those 10, 11 guys, or 8, 9 guys, they were playing 12, 14, 15 minutes a night, giving the other guys a break. The big guys on Denver were playing what?
Yeah, way more minutes.
And then some. You know what I mean? So God bless them, but this is OKC, and I'm saying right now, nobody's beating OKC because there's nobody team in the league that can do it.
They look like they're going to be the new dynasty in the NBA.
And the draft choices they have still, if they win it all this year.
Oh,
the first thing that we
continue to build.
First thing we should shout out to, and I'm going to say this properly, please, so all the people around this city can quit saying it. I want to have a shout out to Hamilton's own Shai Gilgeous Alexander. He's not a Toronto guy. He did go to the, what do you call it? That academy place.
Either way.
Whatever. He's from Hamilton. You know what I mean? Let Hamilton have their props. You know what I'm saying? So, and Agreed. It doesn't matter because he's a great Canadian kid and he's going to play for the country anyway. But, I mean, Shea has looked outstanding. And in the 2 games against Minnesota, he's looked why he is the MVP. Oh, yes. Unbelievable.
So, Oklahoma City handled Minnesota game 1 of the conference final there easily on game 1. Gobert only held to 2 points and 3 rebounds in game 1. SGA, 31 points, 5 assists, 5 rebounds, 9 assists. Minnesota, 34% from the field. OKC was 52% from the field, and where they were basically on top of it, 3-point line as well. Basically owning all the stat sheet after taking over that game in the second half. Game 2,
almost a mirror game 1.
Yeah, basically. Well, I mean, they won by 15, wasn't as bad, but still. I mean, Shea 38 points, 3 rebounds, 8 assists, another heroic performance by him.
Well, you see the difference when styles make fights, right? Like when they were beating Golden State, they just went right down the middle, right? They had the 3 big guys. But here's what happened when the Gobert, you can't move. The 2 big guys you got to dance with now are freaking big young kids. One's name is Hartenstein and the other guy's name is Holmgren. You know what I mean? And Naz Reid can come out there and Randall can do your thing, but you got those 2 big monkeys running down the court like that. When you got Jalen Williams, Dort, who is another Canadian who was named to the first team all defense in the NBA.
First time in his career.
Thank you, and he's well deserved. If you see when it went out there, they put the lockdown down. I can't see Minnesota coming back. You know what I mean? And even if you know when they're off the floor with Shai, there's other guys that pick up the slack in scoring, including what's his name, that Williams guy. Comes off the bench, and they're just solid, just as all the way, and they run 8-9 guys deep. You know, they have a proper rotation so they can wear you down. But it's not only can they score. You know what I love about OKC? They don't rely on the 3-point shot to win. They rely on defense and going inside, because you know once Shai does that freaking shake and bake move in the paint, it's over. Do you ever see him go through that crowd and come out and his balls in the net? Like, how does he do that? That's like an eel through seaweed. Like, how does that guy do that? You see him go right into a crowd, and you know what I even do? I watch, you know, the old PVR. I watch it. It's his footwork. I bet you he's a damn good dancer. When you see his footwork, like in there, like that one-step move, shake his shoulders and up, and his mid-range is as good as
anybody's.
Vintage DeRozan. He's starting to look like vintage Kobe. You know that shot? Step back and let it go. That's the difference with Ant-Man. Ant-Man thinks he's got that, but it's not as good as Shai's. You know, and I love Ant-Man too, but it's not. You know where Ant-Man tries to go into the paint and do that thing? First of all, I think that Shai's a little taller and a little lankier to get over the top. And Shai doesn't play as bombastically as Ant-Man.
No.
You know what I mean? So when Ant-Man's got to force it, because like who's the other big scoring force on Minnesota? Besides that other guy.
Randall?
And Randall, too. And but they don't have any on the wings. Connolly has had a great career, though.
Sure.
Like, this is his 14th, 15th year, and he's out there battling. God bless him. He doesn't have a ring yet, does he?
No.
You're not getting one this year, Mr. Connolly, and who cares? He went to Ohio State anyway. Fuck them. But this is to me, honestly, this is the coming out party. They got beat last year by Minnesota. No, was it Dallas?
No, they lost to Minnesota.
Who, OKC?
Yeah.
They're not letting that happen again. No, because they lost to him in the
second round.
Second round. No, that's not happening again. I'm saying right now, in my opinion, OKC winning it all. I'll go out on them right now. I say it's over 2 games over Minnesota. OKC's winning it on. We will be so happy for the general manager, Sam Presti, who's gotten so much grief.
Sam Presti.
Presti, yeah. He's gotten so much grief for doing all the great things to run a team. And guess what? No ring.
Could have one around the corner there. Game 3 will be tonight.
What do you
think? They go
think?
into Minnesota.
What do you think?
Oh, I think they're by far the favorites.
Do you think they're going to win it all?
OKC?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially after the way they man. Now, I think Minnesota's going to show up tonight and win.
Also, this is the first time ever in NBA history we're going to have 7 different champions in 7 years.
No, it's the second time.
7, not 6.
7. No. Check back in the late 70s to early 80s. Nobody won in a row. It was like 10 years. Nobody was doubled until the Lakers won in 88, 86, 87. Because if you go back to like 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, there was no repeat.
No, but not necessarily back-to-back, but just in a span of 7 in a row, it's 7 different champions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. In the 80s, there was 7.
No, but Boston won 3 times in the 80s. The Lakers won a bunch of times in the 80s.
Oh, you're saying 7 different teams?
Yes.
Oh, okay,
yes.
okay, got you.
That's never happened before.
No. 7 different teams in 7 different years?
Yeah.
Okay, that I thank you. I didn't hear the question. Cruz, learn how to listen. That's very interesting.
Yeah, because Boston won 2 non-consecutive in the 70s. So did the Knicks. Lakers won a couple in the 70s.
Yep.
Or wait, or maybe just one.
Nobody repeated until the late 80s. Late 80s, or was it in late 80s? Yeah. And then
Lakers,
and then Detroit won 2 in a row, and then Chicago won 3 in a row.
Twice.
Yes, that came after
Houston
won 2 in a row. So we had
yeah.
a whole bunch of repeat guys in there. Hence the reason those teams are known for the greatnesses that they are, so to speak. Now, which should move us over to, can we just have this little drum roll for a second, please? let's talk about North American sports and think of the 3 teams that have franchises that are...
Okay, we just said this already in the show.
Where am I going then?
Leafs, Cowboys, and Knicks.
Oh, come on. Really? So what's happening?
Well, you already spoiled it.
Where's the New York Knicks going to do now? What are they looking like now?
They're gonna get
my
swept.
God.
They're going to get swept.
They're playing their asses off, though. But you know what it is?
But that game 1 choke job.
Oh, my God.
7 points in like the final, 30 seconds or something? It's like the first time an NBA team has done that ever.
Okay, and I looked it up when you said it in the production
here it
meeting.
is. Knicks the first team to blow a 14-point lead in under 3 minutes in an NBA playoff game.
Under 3 minutes, right? Because we're like 250 or something. Whatever it was almost 3 minutes.
14 points.
I've been watching basketball easily 50 years. Easily 15 years on a regular basis.
50, yeah.
50 years. I've never seen any shit like this. I seen some crazy games where like Ralph Sampson got the ball really quick and got the 3 in, but it was the last second. I seen Reggie Miller do his shit. But this, so what was New York doing? And you know what? It's great. Did you see when they flashed to Larry David? And Larry David should be in the front row of every New York Knicks team because he's been there 40 years ago. He was in the front row. So you know what I mean? I love those fans. Those guys represent hardcore. But see the look on their face when they flash on him? Oh, my God. And that's why it's always got that feeling now of Dallas Cowboy, Toronto Maple Leafs, and the New York Knicks. This is their first time to the conference finals since when?
2000.
Wow. That's a New York Knicks. That's a New York Knicks. Look, that's Ben Stiller, isn't it? That's Tina Fey, isn't it?
I don't care about the celebrities in the crowd.
Oh, I just think that they all come out there all the time. Like people forget we're out there all these years that they've been coming out there when they sucked. Now that when you're winning, you feel like just like you. If the Leafs are winning that far, it's like it's like Will Ferrell being at the Kings games.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's amazing that all these people come out like that. But it's the New York Knicks, and what's wrong with the Knicks?
Just not good enough.
I don't know. You know what? They were there.
Tom Thibodeau beating his players into the ground in the regular season.
I don't know if it's that either because I heard Kendrick Perkins say this after the game, that he believes that Thibodeau will now be fired because he benched Cat in the fourth quarter last night. But, oh, by the way, did you see the box score?
Yeah.
Cat was about a -20. -22. So what do you got to do? Sit him down, go with a smaller thing, and they tried to come back.
Yeah.
And here's the weird thing. This is a Thibodeau team that's known for what?
Defense.
Oh, gee. And what's Indiana known for?
Offense.
Yeah. Huge shout out to Pascal Siakam last night.
Yes, he had a huge game last night.
I heard
39 points.
Norm Powell said it. Remember when they had the mob? Oh, yeah, the mob. What do they call the Raptors?
Bench mob.
The bench mob? Oh, who was on the bench mob?
Siakam that season, yeah. Siakam, Norm Powell, Van Vliet.
OG Anunoby.
No.
Yeah, he just arrived.
But I don't remember.
Norm Powell put it up and they posted the guys. All 4 were there.
Really? Bench mob was like 6 guys.
Well, so there was those
DeLon
4.
Wright,
DeLon Wright was on it too. We're missing one more. But anyway, that's just saying it's weird, isn't it? All these guys are getting their chances in the.
I think C.J. Miles was there that season.
Oh, right. Yeah. He could have been there too. I forgot all about him. Not like Miles, the guy on Indiana reminds me of him. The guy with the weird braids, the way they play, shit like that. But in any event, Siakam was. You know what? He is the defense. He leads the defense on that Indiana team because they never played D.
No.
But he's never lacked on his D. He had 2 or 3. I think he had 2 steals last night and a couple blocks. He was great, and he blocked out some people.
Just one steal last night.
One steal, okay. I thought he maybe had 2. And but what did he have? 39 points.
39 points, yeah.
Yeah. Oh no, he was there in the paint.
15 to 23 shooting.
Yes.
3 of 5 from 3.
Yes, very efficient, great defense. Because sometimes what you have to do is you have to win when your stars aren't winning. Like look at Haliburton's line. It wasn't the greatest last night.
No, but he was getting it done in other ways.
Yes, he was. And look, nobody else really scored on that team last night. But then again, as Siakam said, it could be anybody on a given night. Do what they do because the way they play, the way they run and go. And you know what? Because the Knicks have always played at a slower pace, and the Indiana's like the fastest playing team in the league. They're running them down a bit.
Oh, hell yeah.
You know what I mean? So, hey, New York Knicks, get some oxygen. real quick. You know
also,
what I mean?
love the Haliburton choke celebration.
I wish that it had been for the 3.
I know.
He just missed. You know what I mean? And look at Reggie sitting on the sideline. You always hear these weird things about Reggie not. Why should Reggie be doing this series and all this other historic bullshit? But that's just media fodder. It's just a coincidence. The New York Knicks, Indiana series back in the day were epic.
Well, it's also this is the last series that TNT is ever going to carry.
Oh, that's true too. But it's good that
so you're going to send your A team there, and Reggie just happens to be part of the A commentary team.
And Reggie's very good. I think Reggie's excellent. But that's the point is when you see Reggie sitting over there and he looks like the cat that just swallowed the bird the whole time. But that's something that's there's a 30 for 30 on that just to let you know that you to know the.
I have it on DVD.
yeah. That depth and breadth of that going on. I seen every one of those games in real time. That was the fun part, seeing every one of those games. And I had no horse in the race.
Of course not.
I was just, okay, let's put on the TV show. What is it? Oh, it just happened to be the Pacers-Knicks TV show. Because the Pistons weren't quite there then.
No, they're past that.
They were getting there or whatever, or before that, whatever the case may be.
Anything else for playoffs?
No, there's not really to say. I'm going with OKC all the way. I really want to say when you want to talk about class things, and I guess you were the one that told me that, didn't Shea buy shit for Team Canada?
Yes, he got everyone on the team a Rolex, they were saying.
Okay, did you see what he did for his whole team when he won the
MVP?
Yeah. He had a box of goods. Brother's eyes were big, all of them in the room, and they were showing him. So whatever was in that, there was watches in there, there was gear, there was shit. I just think it's so cool. But the thing that I like the best is whenever a player, no matter what's going on in their lives, and we've mentioned it a couple times here today, his most heartfelt thing that Shea said in accepting his MVP award was just to his wife and his new son.
Yeah.
His years. You know what I mean? Like when you that part of it, it's like you're playing for somebody, so to speak, right?
Exactly.
Beautiful thing. Congratulations. OKC gonna win it all.
And Shea, we mentioned Shea winning MVP. All defensive teams came out as well. First team was Draymond Green, Thompson of Houston, Mobley of Cleveland.
Yeah.
Daniels of Atlanta, Lou Dort, our boy of OKC, getting his first ever named to the defensive team.
Yeah.
Second team was Kamara of Portland, Jaren Jackson Jr. of Memphis, Williamson of OKC, Gobert of Minnesota, and Zubac the Clippers. All rookie teams also came out. So Castle, the all rookie of the year from San Antonio, obviously named to the first team. Zach Edey, our boy.
Yes.
Risa Shea from Atlanta, Sar from Washington, the two French guys who were high in the draft. Welf from Memphis. You watch Memphis a little bit more than I do.
He's okay.
Second team, Buzelis from Chicago, Carrington from Washington, Klingon from Portland, Missy from New Orleans, and Ware from Miami. There were also... Okay,
can I say something about those guys? Because they're the only other rookies they had to find. So let's talk about where these guys a couple of years, which is good. They're getting their flowers now. A couple of those guys aren't that good. They played okay, 15 minutes a night, but look around the league. Who else could you going to find?
I don't know if it's NBA having a second all-rookie team, I think that's a little redundant.
Yes, thank you. That's the correct word. Thank you.
All NBA first, second, and third teams also came out. So first team was Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Nikola Jokic, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Jason Tatum, Donovan Mitchell.
Yep.
Second team, Steph Curry, Jalen Brunson, Anthony Edwards, LeBron James, Evan Mobley. And third team, Cade Cunningham, Tyrese Haliburton, James Harden, Karl Anthony Towns, and Jalen Williams. So Williams getting all the defense and all NBA third team.
Don't you think the third team's a little redundant too? It's all for contracts, you know that, eh? That's what it is. It's all for contracts and money. But I say it's kind of like, because you know what it does then? Then the media starts to determine contracts. The Klay Thomas, anyone? You know what I mean? So I think that's kind of weird. But it was all
13 before that, though, too.
What's that?
They've had this system way before the contracts had anything to do with it.
Kind of, sort of, but I just always say, because we only have two in the NHL, first team, second team, right?
Yeah.
That's, you know what I mean?
And one all-rookie team, that's it.
And one all-rookie team. We don't give out freaking participation awards in the NHL, NBA, okay? So get this straight once and for all, okay? Second team all-rookie NBA. God bless them, eh? Come on. They worked hard to get there, right?
Either way, sure. And then we should also mention that Denver removes the interim tag on head coach David Adelman. Well deserved.
Yes. I only think it's because he's the Joker's boy.
Yes, sir. And we'll move us over to the world of Major League Baseball, where the Blue Jays lost their weekend series last week at home versus Detroit, but they swept the San Diego Padres, winning both the first 2 games by shutouts. So game 1 was 3-0. Game 2 was 14-0. Then game 3 took all the way to extra innings, but then they took care of business there, winning 7-6. And they got Tampa Bay this weekend. They dropped the opener in Tampa.
As usual.
Yeah, 3-1 last night.
Oh, as usual. Okay, anyways, first thing I want to say, because
we got Barrios and Bassett going.
Oh yeah,
this
no,
weekend.
we're looking good. We should be able to do something because Tampa Bay starting pitching is. They got one kid that's come up now is looking pretty good. They got, and I forget his name, but we'll get it when our big show comes on baseball and at the end of the month. Yeah, always Tampa Bay has one guy comes out of nowhere as a pitcher. They got a guy like that again this year. But anyways, anything that we should say about baseball this year, and every time we come on the air, the first thing we should just say is Aaron Judge.
Chase for the Triple Crown, chase for 400.
Aaron, well, I don't think he's going to get the 400.
No,
hold that down. But
someone brought up a good point that he's walking too much, which may sound counterintuitive, but the guys who hit 400 don't usually walk at all. They're just hitting everything.
Okay, but the bottom line is, like, I'm just saying Aaron Judge because now this is getting into an area where, like, he's solidifying his Hall of Fame credentials. Because they go right before I. This is why you are a Hall of Fame player. And who's really protecting him in the Yankee lineup, which blows me away. Did you hear what Soto said about his situation in the Mets this year?
No, what about it?
I have to come to the realization that I'm not hitting in front of the best base hitter in baseball. Oh, Soto, you are a smart motherfucker. You know that? Why did you go then? Go, yeah, you got your...
Well, there's rumors about familial pressure there, which I think is a little messed up, but whatever.
Well, we won't go there. We don't do that in the house. That happens. We're not psychiatrists. Not yet, anyway. But the bottom line is just say Aaron Judge every time. But with that being said, let's just be happy with our Blue Jays who are now at 5. Oh, no, they went one game under 500, right? No, they're 500 now.
They're at 500.
They're 500 now. Now, what was my litmus test? Be 500 at the beginning of May? Well, they're hanging in there at the end of May. If we get them at June 1st, this could be amazing.
Thank God the American League sucks.
Okay.
Because that's the only reason why we still have a chance here. Still within 5 games of the Yankees somehow.
Yes, because the Yankees don't have pitching, bro. We'll go through the whole thing. I'm just going to go through some quick things around the league right now because we're already pushing 2 hours on the show and we got other things to say. But first of all is like what really blows my mind is the guys that are, I said the 3% more hitting on the Blue Jays, it's coming from weird guys now. It's not our big guys are still not hitting, but Straw comes in, gets a couple of hits at the key time. What's his name? Berger, whatever. He's coming around, like I said, at third base. Good defensively. I think sometimes it's a weird thing that Jimenez is injured because Clement's bats come a little bit alive. I looked the other day, he's hitting 260. Mm-hmm. Oh, 260. Kurt just
doesn't slug, though.
Get on base, someone will knock him in. Okay, look at Kurt's holding his average, which is blowing me away. Springer is not a reclamation project anymore. I wish we had gone after Bregman now, too.
Yeah,
but Springer is playing great. His defense is going to be there solid, and we still got a modicum of pitching. One of the things we got to realize this. Let's come to this conclusion. Hoffman can't pitch 2 days in a row.
No.
And if he pitches more than 25 pitches, give him 3 days off. Okay. I think we should get a little bit more out of Garcia.
Yeah.
I think we're going to, but the other guys are doing good, like the Littles, the Greens. They're all doing good. Your buddy Rodriguez, is they're trusting him a little bit more lately?
I've been wrong about him. He's been pitching really well lately, so I got to give him some credit there.
Okay, so maybe that's what's taking Pete Walker this long to tighten him up because he has been pitching better. But I know when he's come out a couple times this year earlier, and even when the last time, like 2 weeks ago when he came out, somehow he had the bases loaded, and I don't even know what he was doing. And he got out of it, gave up only 1 run, and I said, okay, that's improvement. And since then, I think he's only given up a couple, right?
Yeah.
The other guy with the weird dreads, how do you say his name? He started a couple games for us.
Oh.
Arnaria? I forgot how to say his name. Anyway, you know the guy.
Yeah.
Anyways, I don't think he's here for long.
Urania.
How do you say that? Like Uranus. Okay, Urania. Okay, in any event,
Urania.
I don't think he's going to be around long.
Probably not.
No, but I mean, he's trying. But I think when this Turnbull guy gets up, who's doing his time down in the minors, getting arm building up for starters innings, correct?
Believe so.
So I hope that goes on because then all these other guys can stay in the bullpen, which we're going to need to stretch out for the rest of the year. Because I'm trying to tell people, part of the reason that Boston came back to the pack a little bit as they went ahead, and part of the reason that the Yankees aren't as ahead of everybody else is the same problem as the Blue Jays. Sometimes they use the bullpens too much.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So let's look around the league. What's interesting this year, you know what I found out? Lots of guys might go over 200 innings pitching this year.
Okay.
Lots of guys.
Like how many are we talking?
25?
Okay.
Could have 25 guys. That'll go over, projected to be, allegedly, could be. Wait till the end of the season, see how wrong I'm. Okay.
Let's get to All-Star break before.
Exactly. But I'm saying right now, that's one of the little things. Well, meanwhile, we're back to my other bitch. We're under 2,300 hitters again. Only got 18. So nobody's giving us the offense we are.
No.
So here's the other things. I just found some weird stuff that happened in baseball when we get over here. How did the Angels sweep the Dodgers? How did that happen?
It's baseball. Anything can happen in a
End of
single
the world as
day.
we know it? Come on. That's the end. Then you know what happened when the Dodgers left town? I mean, the Angels left town, got their asses kicked.
Yeah.
It was just so
And
weird.
the Dodgers are still first in the powerful NL West.
Yes,
so
well, that's
come
because the other team fell back. You know what I mean?
there's still a 627 win percentage. So
Oh, yeah. Minnesota wins 10 games in a row, and they don't even get a sniff at first base, but they may be now because the biggest series this weekend is Cleveland and my beloved Detroit Tigers. And Cleveland
two
has
top
already
teams
won.
in that division.
And Cleveland's won the first two, which has already tightened it up immediately. You know what I'm saying? They lost 2 and they got 2 more to go. So the loss column is closed down to 3. And you know how I like to say about that. Here's the weird thing about starting pitchers and new guys that are showing themselves and stuff. Robbie Ray is the leader. And there's only one guy's got 7 wins so far. Mm-hmm. And that's what's his name, Faft on Arizona. A bunch of guys got 6. But look at where they are. Robbie Ray. Where you been, Robbie Ray? Robbie Ray? Where you been, Robbie Ray? Robbie Ray. I seen him pitch the other night, 7 innings, got nothing. Looked like the year he won the Cy Young for Toronto.
His numbers are good this year.
His numbers are most excellent and good. And how's a guy like Sonny Gray almost have 5 wins? I thought that guy was on the scrap heap with all the new guys.
I always like
coming
Sonny
in.
Gray.
I did too, and he's around. They got the usual guys with Wheeler, but you know when they say they have a vulture in baseball? Listen to this guy on Washington, okay? His name is Jorge Lopez. Motherfucker's got 6 wins.
Okay.
He's only pitched 23 innings. His ERA is 6.96. They don't even want to tell you what his whip is. Motherfucker's got 6 wins. Isn't that one of the weird?
That's insane.
Is it not playing for Washington? 6 wins, and look at the guy's numbers. If you just took away the wins and look, he goes, this guy ready to go to the minors? Let's send him down.
He's doing something right.
How can you? That's what I mean. I'd like to know. I'm going to pay more attention to Washington and see if the guy's coming up. Because I was just going over numbers, getting ready for our show, our where 1st of June, especially when we get the All-Star break. So I have been paying attention to baseball, you can see. So I've been just seeing mad shit like this, and it just blows my mind. One of the other things I want to bring up is that
The torpedo bats?
Torpedo what?
Guys are using it to have success.
Oh, I know it has, but it hasn't reached the peak that it is because if it's good for you. It's like anything else in baseball.
Well, it's going to be a slow build. I kind of predicted that.
Yeah, but I mean, you're not hearing much about it. But I mean,
Kyle Raleigh in Seattle's using it. He's having a great year.
Cruz in what's his name? Is it Cruz in Cincinnati?
Yes.
He switched to one. He's having a pretty damn good year, too. And there's a couple other guys that are saying about doing it, too. But here's another interesting stat. I'm just looking around to see who's doing what. If you got 40 ribbies right now, you're having a great season. And Teoscar Hernandez, he's got 41 ribbies. But here's the deal, man. He's only played 37 games because he's had that nagging injury. So imagine if he had to play this 50, how big he would be. We love you, Teoscar. Wish you were in Toronto. What's the other thing is? Ohtani's wife, girlfriend, whatever, just had a new baby too, right?
Okay. So
he was kind of over there for a while since he's had the baby and settled. Did you see Ohtani in the last 2 weeks? Remember we were asking where is he?
Yeah.
No. He's around. Okay, just don't worry about him. He's around. He's doing his thing. You know, I guess because, when you're brand new and all that shit in your life, you say it's not going to affect your life, but at a little points it does. Not that he was playing shit or anything, but in the last couple of weeks, he's back to being, he's Ohtani, one of the best baseball players in baseball. Just it goes that way. Only a couple things I'm going to say is that one of the things what we're saying, and it's becoming more predominant as the season goes on, how much better the National League is better than the American League.
Oh, because they actually spend money.
Well, I looked it up, and I think it's since 2015, The National League has spent 38% more money on players than the American League. You know what that really leads to?
And considering the American League has, the Yankees and the Red Sox and the Blue Jays.
Thank you very much. It doesn't, and the NL's got Pittsburgh and Cincinnati, but that tells you how much anything.
And
Miami, but which leads you to believe that Pittsburgh's thinking about trading Skeens already to maximize his value. What would you do if you're a Pirate fan and you heard that? I'd jump right off the bridge, say, fuck you, I'm done.
Are the Pirates the most pathetic franchise in North American sports?
Right now?
Yeah.
Is it because of the city? Like, I heard this.
What do you mean because of the city?
It's got to be the ownership, of course.
Come on. But who are the contenders there? It's like them, the Sabres.
But Buffalo's trying. They're throwing money around. They're just not doing it right. Come on. Buffalo's trying. But Pittsburgh's just not spending the money. Now, there's a rumor Mark Cuban, did you tell me that or somebody else? Somebody mentioned that Mark Cuban, who's got West Virginia, Pittsburgh connections, he's been snooping around. Who else? Jeff Bezos, I think they said another guy that he has some was it Bezos or somebody else? One of those big money shark dudes.
If it continues like this, the fans are going to sell the team signs. They're going to be chanting at the game soon, so...
That'd be just awful. But imagine that. You got a guy like that. He's only in his second year. He's a generational talent, so to speak, and there's words of what can we get for him.
That would piss me off so much.
Oh, I'd be losing my shit. I wouldn't even show up at the games. Your attendance is bad enough now? Let's just not show up. Is this the respect you show us after all this time? We got a guy, maybe the guy. Well, maybe we can trade him.
That's outrageous. Anything else for baseball?
No, we'll be much more thorough. Come on, Jays, hang in there. Vladdy, start making your money, please.
Okay. Well, him and Santander.
Santander's way worse. You were right. Your call about him is, I don't like that you gave him that karma, bro. I'm blaming it all on you. Every time he comes up and swings, he misses. I go, Milani, why didn't you just keep it to yourself in the back pocket? You wrecked the guy's season.
Anyways, we'll move us on to our soccer report where Toronto FC crushed Montreal 6-1 in Montreal last Saturday.
Where did that come from?
Bernadeschi, 2 goals and an assist in that one to lead the team to victory.
What was he doing? What did he eat? Where did we go down? With that score flash on the screen, I meant to text you, but they're so insignificant in my life. I was probably puffing and went, okay, next. Maybe I was dreaming. Did you see that score when it came up? What did you think when you saw it?
I was like, whoa. I mean,
I did too. I went, really?
Montreal's a very bad team, too. Let's not kid ourselves, but...
Oh, I know that, but come on. And then first I go, this is not baseball. Oh, no, Expos aren't around anymore. Seen 6-1 score. I mean, not hockey. It's hockey season's over. What's going on here? Good for Toronto FC.
Good for Toronto FC. Hopefully they can carry that into this weekend where they host Nashville FC, and then they also host Philadelphia Union on Wednesday.
Mm-hmm. Don't they have to start making some moves so they'll be serious so they don't become like...
Well, we talked about this with Kevin Pick. They're kind of just hoping that Insigne what's that smile? What's that evil smile you got in your face?
I'm just thinking about those Toronto FC guys.
Insigne, I think they're just hoping that he leaves. I think he's got another year in his contract after this, though.
I know. So that's why I didn't want to bring up all those soiled laundry that the Toronto FC have.
Either way.
I feel, and once again, you know what? I don't want to be like that, and I shouldn't be grinning, and I'm glad you cut me off before I was going to say some shit about the team, but I really feel for their fan base.
It sucks.
What a great fan base they have. They really do. I hear people talking, don't mess with your fan base. We just mentioned Pittsburgh. Maybe that's the name of the show. Sorry ass fan
Keith Pelly
bases. Save us.
Solve this mess. We'll move over to England where Newcastle fell in Arsenal 1-0, Arsenal now securing second. Declan Rice with the lone goal there. All games will be on Sunday at 11 a.m. to close out the Premier League. This is the final week they have. So we have...
Before you continue that game, wasn't that game supposed to... I didn't see it just in my highlights, but I seen those guys on that talking about it. Sensational pace to that game is what I heard. Is that true?
It looked like it from the highlights, yeah.
Yeah, well, the guys that talk about the sport, they were screaming about the pace of the game.
Okay.
So I wish I had watched it.
So all games will be tomorrow at 11 a.m. So we got Fulham versus Man City, Nottingham Forest versus Chelsea. Big game for Nottingham Forest to try and slip their way back into Champions League after this little fall down that they've had. Manchester United versus Aston Villa, a big game for Aston Villa. Newcastle versus Everton. Newcastle's trying to hang on to that number 3 spot. And Liverpool finishes up against Crystal Palace. So we'll look at the final standings next week there.
the Liverpool playing now just means they rest players for everything else that's really important, right? These games are insignificant for them, so to speak.
Yeah, but still one of the top teams there.
Oh, no doubt about it. But I mean, like the rest of their season, because they're not going anywhere.
No,
yeah.
But I mean, you Salah's got, put the little bow on it there. Maybe get to 30 goals. He's sitting at 28 right now.
Good point.
He's leading Premier League in goals and assists. Correction from before, Newcastle's in 4th right now. Manchester City in 3rd. Chelsea in 5th in the final Champions League spot, although Aston Villa's got the same amount of points as them. They're in 6th, and Nottingham Forest just 1 point back. So it's going to be a huge Sunday in the Premier League. In Italy, Inter drew Lazio 2-2 last weekend. Napoli won against Cagliari yesterday to secure their 2nd Serie A title in the last 3 years. They won that one 2-0. Antonio Conte capturing his 5th Scudetto, becoming the first manager to win the Serie A title with 3 different clubs.
Really?
Yep. Good job for the former Italy coach right there. Milan also beat Como 2-0.
Did they have a Hall of Fame for guys doing shit like that?
I'm sure there's something.
That's pretty wild, man.
Inter secures 2nd place with that 2-0 win. The rest of the games will be on this weekend, including Venezia versus Juventus on Sunday. I guess all these are on Sunday. Lazio versus Lecce, Torino versus Roma, and Empoli versus Verona on Sunday. Empoli, we mentioned they made it to the Coppa Italia final. They need to win this game to avoid relegation.
I know. Regulation's the worst word in the history of soccer, isn't it?
Oh, in any European sport.
And when you hear that, you cringe, right?
Oh, yeah.
Regulation for you.
Relegation.
Yeah, regulation.
Relegation.
Relegation for you.
In Spain, the final games are on Sunday, but the top 5, it's pretty much guaranteed going to Champions League. They're locked in, so welcome to Champions League. Barcelona, Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid, Athletic Club, and Villarreal.
Congratulations to them all.
In Germany, they finished up the Bundesliga last weekend, so Bayern, Leverkusen, Frankfurt, and Dortmund will all be going to Champions League. Harry Kane wins the Golden Boot with 26 goals. Michael Olise led the league in assists with 15. Peter Gulaxi had 14 clean sheets for RB Leipzig.
Wow.
So winning the title there. In France, they finished Ligue 1 last weekend as well. PSG, Marseille, and Monaco all going to Champions League. Nice has to qualify, but they'll still have a chance to get there, which they probably will. Mm-hmm. Greenwood and Dembele both tied for the Golden Boot with 21 goals. Perrin from Auxerre and Cherki from Lyon both tied for the most assists with 11. And Samba from PSG led the league in clean sheets with 12.
Wow.
We had the Europa League final last weekend. The number 16 versus number 17 team in the Premier League going at it for the Tier 2 European title. So Tottenham Hotspur topped Manchester United and Bilbao, Spain for their 3rd Europa League title and their 1st since 1984. They won that one 1-0 despite Man U with most of the pressure in that game. Spurs move on to Champions League next year with that victory.
Wow.
Big win there.
Huge. Mega.
We have the Conference League final this weekend. So Chelsea versus Real Betis. That will be in Wrocław, Poland on Wednesday. So if Chelsea gets a Champions League spot there, then obviously they don't need this one to move to Europa League. So it's going to go back into the UEFA pod. They look at the coefficients to figure out who gets that spot.
That's when soccer confuses me.
Yeah, it confuses everybody. So big wishing my team Chelsea the best of luck there.
Yes.
But of course, the big one today, the Champions League final, Inter versus PSG in Munich. That's at 3 p.m. Very much looking forward to that.
Is that on linear TV?
It's on DAZN. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, I got DAZN. Okay, we're good. Just want to know that. I don't know if I can PVR it because as soon as I do,
if you have DAZN, you can watch watch
replay. Okay, yeah. Right, good.
Anything else for
here? Out the door, but that's another story.
Anything else for soccer?
No, just I always find it interesting that a lot of these games now at the end, especially in Germany, those teams can just skate, right? What do? That's business decision games, right? It got to be. What else are you going to do?
Well, like the Liverpool match you're talking about?
Yeah, they got to be business decisions, which I understand.
Salah chasing 30 goals though.
No, I like that too. What I'm saying is that you've earned that position. Considering all the other places you got to play when you're Champions League, this, that, the other thing. So they've earned their positions to have these business decisions games. I wonder what it's like for the fans. They just go and have a celebration, right?
Oh, for sure.
That's what it is. That's pretty cool. I can dig it.
So we'll move this over to the world of the PWHL. Toronto's Renata Fast named a finalist for MVP, and Toronto's Troy Ryan named a finalist for Coach of the Year.
Yep.
But we got to talk about the Ottawa-Minnesota final. Ottawa took Game 1 in overtime, 2-1. Emily Clark with the winner there. But Minnesota coming back to win Game 2, 2-1 in Ottawa.
The next 2 games are in mini.
Yes, they are.
The series could be over.
Including today. That's going to be at 5 p.m.
Yes.
Yeah, so by Monday we could have back-to-back champion Minnesota.
Yes. You know what the thing is? They're not scoring very much, though, are they?
No. It looks like playoff hockey.
Yeah, but it's what else? Like, go to the games 2-1, 3-1, 3-2, 2-1. Like, I don't think I've seen a game where it got 4 goals. That doesn't mean that the quality of the play.
Not in this round. In the semifinals, we saw some rounds.
Did we see a couple?
Oh, well, Toronto, Minnesota, some of those games got pretty high scoring. There was a 7-5 game. There was a 3-4 game to close it out.
But no, I shouldn't have brought it up then, because then it sounds like there's something missing in the game. No, the paces of the games have been most excellent. I watched the last period of the Minnesota-Ottawa game. I left it on. I'm very impressed with the pace. Quality of play was most excellent. I'm just saying they don't score a lot, which in a way keeps a high tension for the later in the game.
Yeah.
Because you know what I mean? You see them scrapping out like no tomorrow. It's 2-1 with 5 minutes left. They're freaking giving her. God bless you, girls. Highly entertaining.
Yeah.
Playoff hockey, like you said. Playoff hockey.
The one thing that does scare me, though, is if Ottawa does lose this series, like, why can't Canadian teams win?
We're inferior.
No, come on.
I'm just joking. We're a bunch of tribes. We're not a country, maybe?
What do you mean?
Nothing. I'm just being a bastard. Tell me to shut up. I don't know why, and I'm not going to say it's about revenue, especially when it comes to PWHL.
No.
I just think that we got to be snake bitten here or something. Now, the markets are a lot more in America, so they got a lot more of them to compete for championships as opposed to us. But give us a break
that's for the
sometime.
NHL, but PWHL, it's even, and like...
Point well taken. That's what I'm saying. Give us a boat.
And the only Canadian team, a Canadian series, the only series a Canadian team has won was when a Canadian team had to win, because it was Ottawa, Montreal.
Okay. But you know, even look at the last bunch of years here, like what have we really have come, except for the Raptors coming to the top, and we had a blaze of glory with TFC.
Yeah, I mean, TFC, it's a little bit of like, I don't know.
But they were there.
Yeah.
They were there, but I mean, I know what you're talking about, that kind of championship, right?
Yeah.
But we're not.
We're talking like, okay, what? The Marlies won a Calder Cup. So
no, stop that. No. That doesn't, no.
I mean, that was so cool when it happened. But,
no, I was very happy. Of course you are. But.
Yeah. It's not a major title.
No. And maybe some of those guys will come up and help the Leafs win a Stanley Cup in the future.
What do you mean? That title was like 7 years ago.
I know. Was that long ago?
Yeah.
And some of those guys did end up coming.
Some of those guys did play with the
Not many,
Leafs.
but a few, right?
Yeah.
I'd have to go back and see. But
it was like Andreas Janssen was playoff MVP. Garrett Sparks was the goalie of that team.
And where's he now?
Yeah, well, Europe, I bet.
Yeah.
But either way, it's just very weird that Canadian teams just seem to be snake bitten with club hockey titles.
I agree. 100%.
It's very bizarre, very sad. They also announced that the expansion rules for the PWHL, for the expansion draft, teams will only be able to protect 3 players for the expansion draft in June.
You know what? And they're bringing 2 teams, right?
Vancouver and Seattle.
Ooh, this is going to be that means those teams could automatically win the championship next year. I think that's a little brutal, don't you think? You know what scares me? What are you telling me about the talent pool, which I said before? That's what worries me. Don't water it down, but I think there's enough players to go around, so to speak.
Well, I also think it's an upstart league. So you want what?
Why couldn't they keep 6? There's only 18 guys. Keep 30 of the team. What are you saying? Because there's a lot of influx players retiring and coming in. Like I noticed, I read that in the newspaper about a little article about it. There's a percentage of players, like say 30% of them. Is it that many? I forget the percentage. You could fact check me. But what they're saying is that players that are coming in that we're not sure of their potential, and players that looking like they're at the back 9 and coming into the clubhouse. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think there's a vast majority of those players. Like they say that's the majority of the players, hence they're putting out there. But Toronto has 6 viable players they could have kept, including a goaltender.
Sure.
You know what I mean? They had 6 viable.
Well,
Montreal had 6 viable players that they could like to keep. At least maybe. Montreal might have more. But then you got to consider what's viable, who scores, what's your position, all that other whatever.
I just think the biggest thing here is that it's still an upstart league, and you don't want to throw a team an anchor with nothing that's a guarantee here. Especially the PWHL, they don't have a US TV deal yet.
No, this is their first year, right? No, second year. Okay, yeah, and this is going into the third year. Okay, so they don't want Seattle to go 0-24.
Exactly.
Got you. Okay. I still say it's a little rough for the team that have those 2-year development where they're going to say, oh, it's only 2 years. That's going to be the call. 3 players, though, eh?
Yep.
Ooh, that's rough.
I kind of like that the PWHL is going hardcore with a bunch of these rules, though.
Oh, every time you turn around, it's rules that the men talk about doing but don't have the balls to do.
Exactly. I admire that about the league.
Agreed.
Anything
and
else?
Good luck to the new franchises.
Exactly. Anything else for PWHL?
Mm-mm.
We'll turn this over to the PGA Championship, where Scottie Schleffer won with the -11. 5 strokes ahead of second, so it was a very drama-free Sunday, minus the F1 race, which we'll talk about a little bit later. But between that, the NBA Game 7 and the NHL Game 7, no, there was no drama. There's your evil smile again.
No, it was drama up to about 12, and then Rahm fell off the cliff. That was it, and that was done, because he made a nice run along the way. I thought the most interesting thing about this was at Quail Hollow, which is usually a regular PGA Tour event. Because remember, they had it at the other place it's usually at last week. One of the things that fascinated me, and this is why I should have bet on going to one of those pro betting lines, whatever. After round 1 of the PGA, I was saying, Scottie's winning this one, going away. Everyone says, there's not a guarantee. And we're talking about on Saturday as he was going in, he was taking the lead, because what had happened was, and I was talking, and Cody McDonald, thank you very much for explaining this to me, when you hit the ball in the fairway, you should not be penalized.
Sure.
However, due to the
conditions,
shit was coming up from the ground, that stuff was sticking to the golf ball, and of course, you're not allowed to touch the golf ball while it's on the fairway. So I was explained to me, it's like, hard enough to hit a ball as it is. If you golf hard enough to do, the game's hard enough it is.
One of the hardest things to do in sports.
You got it. So now you got to hit your golf ball with an almond attached to it.
And hope it goes straight.
And hope it puts in any direction that you're looking, to tell you the truth.
Physics doesn't usually work like that.
No, that's what, let's think about the 10 premium players that missed the cut. That lets you know that, because when you see the leaderboard going into Saturday morning.
Yeah, we talked about last weekend.
That's what I'm saying. 2 or 3 of those guys, I didn't know who they were, and I'm a religious golfing watching guy. But in any way, I was very happy for Jon Rahm to give it a run. I wasn't feeling sorry for DeChambeau, who is, to me, if he's winning, it sounds like fun. When he's losing, it sounds like he's like back to the drawing board.
So like Lando Norris.
Yeah, we'll get to that. But you know what I'm saying? It was the whole, it's hilarious how he goes about it. Like, and I got new equipment coming, and they're lathing my freaking things as it's coming out the door. And if I only did that, I'm going, yeah, but I only got one number in the lottery last night too, DeChambeau, who is a great golfer, who is very dynamic, which gets to the point which everybody's whining about. When is LIV and the PGA going to get their shit together? In my opinion, not in the too distant future.
Yeah.
You know? There's a lot of every time they try to tell you, oh, they've come to a conclusion, they're going to talk, and then all of a sudden they come in the room and they come out, nobody's talking, so what's going on? We know what's going on. The Saudi money paid off a lot of people. That's great, okay? And the guys that stayed behind got elevated events, and they kept the tour the way that it is. Nobody's watching LIV. They're trying to get more contracts. You know what's going on there. Jon Rahm at the press conference told you what LIV was all about. You see how excited he was about this type of competition? I mean, okay, if you got in the PGA, if you want to let him wear shorts, I couldn't give a shit about that. But, I mean, it's all the other parameters that surround LIV that make no sense to me in having a professional golf tournament, including only 54 holes with that much money. Right?
Come on, you're not a fan of the Crushers?
What's the other name? They got some
weird, stupid ones.
Okay, and you see DeChambeau probably wears all his gear when he comes out, like all the logo on his team and all that shit. Which is that?
They're probably contracted to. They probably have to.
Ram wasn't wearing his, was he? No.
Doesn't he have the bag with his?
Maybe he has the bag. But he had he wore different hats, so it's different companies, different sponsors, so to speak. But here's a real stickler. Okay, here's what I'm going to say. Even though you don't like LIV, and it's all about the PGA and the elevated events, and we got things that are going so we can get better attention, and all the great golfers are playing with each other at once. Our boy, Brooks Koepka is saying, well, my contract's done in a year.
Please take me back. Please, PGA.
But what are the boys going to say?
This is going to be very interesting.
That's what they're saying. They haven't figured out how these guys are going to... Like, they all get to the table, then it's fuck you. The money's already been given to these guys. There's no way to balance the schedule, bro.
No,
How do you balance it?
What happened to the PGA and Liv, like, breaking bread like a year ago? I guess that... What was that about?
Well, then when the boys looked over and goes, well, what about Koepka's $200 million? I ain't going to make that in the next 5 minutes. Oh, he's coming back to take more of our money? You got to look at it that way, right? Brooks comes back on the tour, okay? And he's going against Zalatoris, okay? And there's elevated events. So what has Zalatoris made in his career so far? Has he made $50 million on the course? I doubt
Probably
it.
not.
Okay. Brooks keeps that in the trunk of his Ferrari. Okay, you know what I'm saying? Now, they're going to come out and they're going to come to the same event, and Zalatoris sees that Koepka's coming to tee it up with him on the House That Happens regional golf tournament, which is a prize of $4 million to the winner. That's why that's where we're on the other tour.
Raised $4 million? Congratulations to us.
Yeah, we were great. But in any event, you know what I'm saying? I don't know, like, we can talk about this all day. I don't know how they're going to balance this, bro. Like, I'd be looking over, too, like, these guys. Like, DJ's the greatest. I love DJ. He was one of my favorite golfers. When this guy walks around, he just walks around with a suntan going, I'm wearing pants again? Where'd my shorts go? You know what I mean? Like, he's just, and Pauline is working on her 10, and the nanny's feeding the kids, and I'm doing a round with Wayne at Wingfoot next week anyway. You know what I mean? And you even think what it's getting weird is that they're starting to split the tour now, so it's like the Saudi part of the tour and then the North American part of the tour. What do they got, 32 scheduled events? I think it is. And they're trying to get them over there because everyone's forgotten about the events over there in Saudi Arabia. However, don't let yourself be fooled. Do you see when you look at those events, like, did you see when they had that UFC fight over there?
Okay.
Did you see who was sitting around the ring?
Was it like the Live guys?
No, Sheik Ali Dubba and the whole crew, man. That's all you could see. There was nobody else there. Like, the Saudis love their sports, too. What was the other event? That? Then did you see when they had, well, I forgot to tell you, I didn't come up because then they flashed it. Another thing, I don't show it. The VIP sections at, like, Qatar for the Formula One.
Oh, yeah.
That's where they don't show them on TV. They're secret. And they got guards around there and shit, too, eh? They got a whole place just for these mofos. Don't show us on TV, by the way.
Thanks, I hate it.
In any event, that's why the Live and the PGA Tour won't be coming back together. And congratulations on Scottie, who's now halfway to the Career Slam.
Exactly. Good for Scottie. We're a fan of his at the House That
Of course we do.
That.
Yes, we do. And
Look, they're already previewing the Stanley Cup Final. They know the two teams. The script has been written.
Oh, that's not right, is it? That don't look good. That just doesn't look good, what we've seen. No, nothing's fixed.
Nothing.
Dallas got that first-round pick because the ball spun that way. We got it. Okay.
Either way, we'll move us over to our final main segment here of the show, Formula One, where we will recap the Imola, or I guess the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix.
Yeah, every time I heard him,
made in Italy, blah, 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 all these sponsorship stuff. Either way, the important thing is that Max Verstappen won the Grand Prix, Lando second, Oscar Piastri third, Hamilton and Leclerc fighting up the pack to finish 4th and 6th, respectively, after starting 12th and 11th. Aston Martin qualified.
Nice runs. They were nice runs. I agree.
After horrible qualifying.
Oh, brutal.
Aston Martin qualified strong with Alonso 5th and Stroll 8th, but they fell to 11 and 15 during the race. So some good straight line speed there, like some good qualifying speed, but not a very racy car, as it were.
Well, you know what I found out about, right? And that's maybe they didn't know what they were doing. Did you know that the C-Tire Compact, softest of the Pirelli tires, were being debuted at this race?
The C6? Yes.
See, that's why F1 makes me crazy. When I'm looking at a number, I'm looking up, I'm trying to figure what is this going to do?
They're bringing it to Monaco this weekend, too, and people are saying it's a weird tire.
That's all I've been hearing about. I don't understand, but they said it had to do with one of these places is resurfaced, the other one isn't. What's that got to do with shit?
Well, it depends on how the surface eats away at the tire.
Yeah, that's what I said. Is this basically going to figure out what the performance level is on the tires? Because there was a lot of squawking on the air about when to do the tires, and Max had that very, very cool pit stop during the confusion where he was legal to do it, and I don't get all that. But he slipped in and slipped out. It was perfect, and that was one of the keys. Except
during
for his
one of
pace.
the safety cars.
Yeah, but his pace was good anyway. But that helped him along the way. And then did you notice that Hamilton and Leclerc went in and tried to do the same thing? Because they realized
Hamilton took advantage. Leclerc wasn't quite able to.
But he was trying to get on it too. It's an interest. Those are the little chess moves in F1 that I'm starting to learn are significant because you're winning by fractions of seconds at time. Those fractions of seconds are great. And oh, by the way, McLaren had a couple times where they had trouble getting the car out of the frickin'. One of the times when was it Oscar Orlando, one of the only ones behind. The other guy lost seconds coming out again. Like, is this a weekly thing for the number one constructor point team in F1? I'm mocking him. I had to rewind my tape because that PVR go, what? Groundhog Day? That could be the name of the show. Another Groundhog Day?
It is the name of the show.
Okay. But that's what I see him again. And you see Zach Brown for a second going. And then you go, okay, now that we messed up this way, why not let our boys race against each other on the track? What's going on there, bro?
Well, Oscar couldn't really catch up to Lando. So there's a big gap, wasn't there?
But then they said, move over, and then they said, no, let's race each other. They came close at one point there. Wouldn't they just say, get in line and come across the track? I don't know. It's McLaren. I don't get it. Who's their number one? Oh,
they don't have a number one.
Okay, so then tell us that. And then look at the guys. Look at Lando when he comes off. That guy's going to freaking chew cement. He's pissed. You know what I mean? And Oscar's going, whoa. It's hilarious to see the both of them when they bring the mics to him afterwards. Two completely different personalities, eh? Like that's yin and yang on your team. Like just the way they talk into the camera. Go,
Oscar reminds me a lot of Max.
Only because he's a fuck you guy, you know? And Lando's just your good buddy guy.
Lando, he's like...
He can whine.
He's got two modes. He's got like... He's talking like mad shit when things are going well for him. Or when things aren't going well, it's just like pure depression.
Happy and you know what? Clap your hands. Oh, yeah. And you know what? His face goes up and down with it.
F1 fans are actually starting to turn on him because of that. Because he used to be the favorite driver. Now everyone's like, fuck this guy. Like,
because he's being a bit of a bitch. When he is, it looks really bitchy when he comes about it.
Because you can, like, especially when you do, like, bring that fuck you attitude when you're winning, and then all of a sudden you turn around and be like, oh, no one likes me. Like, it's like, what the fuck, buddy? Like,
well, what they should do
pick
is,
a lane.
What you should do is bring those videos together and make a montage. You said this, then you did this, buddy.
People already have done that on YouTube.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. Look at, hey, buddy, you can't help yourself. We got this. It's on tape. Look what you did.
The guys that are pissing me off this year are him and Albon. Albon has been endless bitching with him and Williams. What, just because he's feeling the pressure because Sainz is there now? Like, you got a pretty good car this year. I don't know why you're bitching so much.
He should have raced better this race. He should have gone a lot farther.
I thought he did pretty well. He finished 5th.
Yeah, but and he climbed up. Was that his first step? But he hasn't had a podium in what, 5 years? 4 years?
Well, he's also been with Williams.
Okay.
There's a mechanical aspect
like
here.
That. You know it is, and I was telling people like that. We should never laugh at F1 drivers, no matter what. Like we can make little jokes about Lando and Oscar and who's number one, and Max is the villain, and Hamilton's still figuring out what to do with his car, and Leclerc's pissed. He's like, what the fuck? I like him because I want him on my team. That's a guy that wants to win. But the point being is, there's only 22 of these guys. Or 20 of these guys.
Soon to be 22.
Soon to be 22 of these guys, man. Come on. Think about it. This is pure madness. When you think, you know what I mean? Like, and we're making fun of them, but then they do dumb things, and when you're positioned to do better, you should.
Well, there's an entertainment aspect about this as well, right?
It's a TV show. It's all TV shows that follow the money. By the way, this gets you away from your theory of because I was watching very closely. Max falling to past number 3.
Oh yeah, that's going out the window very quickly.
I thought you were going to try to play that for a while, but it's not working out for you.
No.
Hey, he raced masterfully. Like the move he made in the first.
Max is gunning for the championship.
But did you know that first move he made, like when the beginning of the race, once against Piastri, doesn't know what the fuck he was doing. Those guys don't know how to start a race, do they? That was a vicious move by
Lando
Max.
and Oscar both have trouble on starts.
Yeah, but that was a vicious move by Max, though, eh? Like how he got around like that, and almost our buddy Gasly, wasn't it? He was almost our Russell.
Yeah.
He had the advantage. I thought he was going to sneak in, and Max said, I don't think so. Pulled right in here, Huckleberry. Here I am. It was so badass a move. And you hear the announcers? That's why I rewound it about 3 times to recognize what they're doing, because the announcers were losing their minds because of the move. But then you see the way he did it at that speed, at that shift.
Insane.
And you know what he did? You know what the announcer said? Oh, did we plan to get around like that? No, he didn't know he was going to do that until then. Then is pretty, that's a crazy place to be then.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And what speed we're at there then? Crazy. Max, you're the man.
By the way, a funny story about Max that I heard last night from my friend Marco. By the way, I should have shouted out my friends Marco and Kat. They hosted us last night. We had a wonderful night there.
Yeah.
My other friend Marco, I have 3 Marcos in my friend group. Italian, yes.
Oh, gee, really?
One of them's not Italian, but either way. Max did not attend he was the only driver to not attend the F1 movie premiere because it was an event. It wasn't an F1 sanctioned event. So he's like, I don't got to go. I'm not going.
Oh, love it. Love it. Absolutely. Wasn't F1 sanctioned, right? Doesn't have to be there.
And he wasn't.
Oh, he's so elitist. He's just so elitist.
I just don't think. I think he's just like, well, I think he was like streaming too, like he was doing the gaming, whatever.
I wonder, just so you know what he was doing. He's
always streaming anyway.
But he's that kind of guy. But you know what? I wonder what it was like what Max was like walking around when he was 14.
Probably in the simulator back then too.
But you know what? He had to have you don't turn that swagger on.
No.
You know what I mean? That's in your
well, you can
DNA.
see there's the famous video of like him and Leclerc from when they were karting. Like they're both the same guy for us. They were when they were 14.
No kidding.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like to be able that's how your life was lived. To get there like now. And now it's like second nature for him. And you know what? It's not arrogance or it's not bragging when you back it up.
Yeah. Oh, okay? Agreed.
So I don't think that, for me to say this, people are going to say, Cruz, shut the fuck up. I was going to say that Max isn't really arrogant.
Well,
he's king-like. Well, arrogance, he's way beyond that point.
Okay.
What do you mean arrogant? That's for guys like me trying to get there. Max is not arrogant. He's like king-like or whatever. You know what?
Fair enough.
You know what? Arrogance, that's for like, that's the SUV and Max is the Cadillac. Okay, we want to put it in that thing, whatever. Since I'm riding that all day.
Kimmy was out in his home race due to mechanical damage, unfortunately for him.
I know. I felt for the kid. He was having a great race. Isn't that what a heartbreak for an 18-year-old? And you're just driving along and your car goes, putt, putt. And you hear him on the radio? Oh, I felt for him. I felt him. You hear him? Because he's so young, right? Did you hear him? I think I have a problem. Or what did he say?
Yeah.
It was just like... Oh, gee. I felt him on the radio. And it was muddy and dirty. But he'll be back. He's got years. He got a career.
Oh, of course.
I'm going to be dead. That guy going to be winning races. Come on.
But Isaac Hadjar continues to impress with Racing Bulls there. He did not have much fanfare coming in, but he is holding his own and then some.
And he's young too, eh?
Yes, he is. He's a rookie.
Yes, so give him a chance. Did you, how does it set back Red Bull when, what's his name, just demoed the car?
That seat's cursed.
They just demoed the car, eh? And it was just, you know what? Was it driving error or track error? Now they're saying both. I don't know.
That's driver error.
He oversteered. And once physics takes over...
Until you're done.
There's no brakes in physics. Do you see the car, though?
Done, yeah.
What did he hit at 200? 180, they said? But you know what's amazing in these days? You see the damage to that car, and he just got out like nothing. Like what?
The safety of F1 now, it's insane.
Absolutely. Like
and that's Niki Lauda that's really the one to thank there.
Exactly the way. God bless Niki Lauda. But you see that, though, in that car? Like, and he just jumped out, okay, I guess I'm in trouble. No allowance this week.
and speaking of crashes, Colapinto had a big crash in quali. They ended up fixing the car for the race. Faster than Jack Doohan, but a little bit more dangerous. Comes at a cost there.
There you go. So what happened? When what's his name ran for Red Bull? Was that their second car? Like they bring an extra car?
No, they just repaired that car.
They just because they got no
one brings extra cars anleanor.
It's just Lego.
Yeah,
boxes of parts and you just put it all back together. Yeah. That's what's beautiful about it because you see when even then they're pulling parts of the car apart. Fuck.
No, it's incredible.
Yeah,
these
modern science and technology. Yep. Put it back together, did they?
Yep. But either way, this is going to set up the biggest weekend in racing this weekend. Monaco, the Indy 500, and of course the most prestigious of all, the Coca-Cola 600 of NASCAR.
The redneck rally of the year, baby. Smashing helmets through the windshield. That's what they're going to be doing today. Where is that? And that's in North Carolina somewhere.
Yes,
too.
it is.
Coco's is North Carolina, right?
Yeah, I'm going to be watching 2 of those races. Not sure about the. I'll probably catch a bit of the NASCAR one, but obviously Monaco, of course, qualifying today. That's the crown jewel. That's the one you want to watch.
Yes, I got it running as we speak.
And Indy 500, I always love watching. I always very much look forward to that one.
I'll try to.
And then next weekend, Spain, which is the conclusion of a triple header here for Formula One, and then 2 weeks after, Canadian Grand Prix in Montreal.
Here it comes right away.
Anything else for Formula One?
No, but all these big things coming to the city. I just meant to talk. We're talking about soccer. People at City Council tell us the truth about the cost of this soccer thing.
You should have saved that for the soccer segment.
I meant to, and I forgot. I just seen it on my notes right here, but I'm saying it now. You know, there's going to be.
I heard.
That shit makes me nervous. And then but it was because of this World Cup soccer. Regardless of how much money it draws to the city, you better not be paying out more than you're getting in.
Exactly.
You know, that's what worries me.
We'll move us over to trivia, once again provided by Steven.
Who is outstanding with his questions. I still can't believe the week the Yammer Yager one I didn't get. That one really irritated me because I should have known.
Steven, your question this week is a little too easy for me. I know the answer of this one.
Oh, okay. What is it?
Who is the only Finnish member of the Triple Gold Club? So Triple Gold Club, in case you don't know, that is a Stanley Cup, an Olympic gold medal, and a World Championship IHF gold medal. I know the answer.
Yari Curry?
No.
Team Milani?
No.
No, it's a no-name guy like Tommy Salo or something. No, but he's Swedish. He's Swedish. So it's a Finnish guy, right?
Yeah.
That has what? He's won a gold medal.
Olympic gold medal at the World Championships, which is the one that's going on right now, and Stanley Cup.
The Finnish, is a defenseman, isn't he?
No.
Then I'm clueless. Wait a second.
He won a Stanley Cup with Detroit.
I was getting around there. Okay, slow down on me, but I'm trying to remember who was the Finn that played then. Oh, my God. I got to think about it. Lindstrom was He's
Swedish.
Oh.
He's triple gold though, I believe.
Yeah. What was that's what? Not Tommy Salo. Okay, give me the guy's name. I'll never remember.
It's Valtteri Filppula.
Oh right. I knew it was going to be some crazy ass guy like that. I would never remember his name, but now that you say it, I'll never remember.
Last Olympics.
Yes,
he joined triple golds because of that.
Yes, that's right. He was a solid two-way player. He got up to be a second line guy by the end. Mostly ended up being a third
he was
line.
Mostly a third line guy, but he played with Tampa Bay a little bit later on. He was a second line center.
Yeah, and power play time. But he never got to be that 40-goal scorer that people whispered that he could have been. Because remember he came in, he looked like he had a scoring touch for a while?
I don't know if I would have ever accused him.
Where did Detroit get him from? St. Louis?
No, they drafted him.
Oh, they drafted him. Okay.
Yeah, he was a young guy when they won that cup in 08.
Oh, and then Tampa Bay took him after that. Right. Okay, got you. Because it was, okay. Thank you, Stephen, again. Always good.
Absolutely. So a couple things for the hockey game tonight, Carolina, Florida. So Hurricanes turning into Kochetkov, just in case you needed another reason to put money down in a Florida sweep. And
that means Freddie's sitting?
Yeah.
Oh, Freddie's, you know what we said about Freddie?
Yeah, well, and Kochetkov's not much better. I said this, so they need Freddie if they need to have any success there in Carolina. And Sam Reinhart will not play tonight after the hit from Aho.
Okay, is that going to be? We should have brought that up. I was in my notes too.
The slash on Rupi Hins.
Oh, right. Okay, but what's going to happen here? Fines only?
I don't know. Well,
the Aho one was weird.
It didn't look like Aho even got punished for it.
Should have been something. That almost looked like a Darcy Tucker thing from back in the day when you seen it, right? But they said there was no intent. Is that because he was a good actor and he was looking the other way?
I don't know what goes on through George Paris' mind.
I don't know. With the Ruby Hintz ones, come on. That guy was swinging for the fence. You know, what's his name was swinging for the fence there. There got to be a fine on that.
The nurse one weird. Probably.
But that was like he was swinging for the fence. But that
we'll know today.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. It's going to be only fines. They're not going to be fucking with the players. It's too late in the thing anyway. But the bottom line, that's where it gets back to where it's like, when do you define what you're supposed to do in a situation that's illegal in the highest level of a game? So there wasn't Aho didn't get much about that situation, but at the same time, they remembered to call those plays in the Minnesota-Dallas game Dallas-Edmonton game where Dallas got a couple of power plays because those were deserved. This gets confusing as a fan. You know what I mean?
A little bit.
You know what I mean? Think it'll be fines?
Maybe for Nurse, but that's it.
Okay, and there's Stanley showed up with that shoe.
$5,000.
Do you see that shoe in his mouth right now?
The slipper, yeah.
We've put it 8 feet in the air, and he's found a place to get it. Amazing dog.
What's the game you're looking forward to most this week?
I'm actually looking for the 2 Cleveland-Detroit baseball games this week, and I'll be watching them close. They're going to be on there. I've really been watching baseball closely. I can't wait till we have a full-on let's talk baseball for an hour situation because it's a really interesting year.
Once the playoffs wrap up.
What's that?
Once the playoffs wrap up.
You can't talk about anything. We've been talking long enough, and I got to get out of here.
Yeah.
So where are you going to be watching the Champions game? I might be able to
I'm probably going to be watching on tape delay tonight.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm hoping to, because it starts at 3, right?
Yep.
I'm hoping that they're going to have it on because I think I'm going somewhere near San Fran.
Probably.
So, yeah, there's soccer guys, so I'll probably catch it there and run in with Zach. And Zach will look at me and say, what are you doing with soccer, Dad? You know,
just like with racing?
Yeah. Oh, no, he's worse with, you should see him. You know what? You never want to hear my son Zach talk about the Toronto Maple Leafs. That's just pure humor. First of all, he don't know a hockey stick from a freaking skate blade, but he knows how the city works and he knows how the team works. So, hey, Dad, you know what? I was doing my hair when I heard that there was a hockey game on.
So I'm going to say for me, the game I'm looking forward to most this week is, well, it's actually a tie between all the racing tomorrow in the Champions League final.
Yeah, that's going to be good today, too. There is, I think there's a pitching. The other game I'm hoping to on Sunday night is I'm going to take a look at the Mets-Dodgers game because they rematch this weekend, too. That's Sunday. Yeah. It's all weekend, but that's going to be a Sunday night match because I think the pitching matchup is going to be interesting.
Either way, thank you, everyone, for listening. We very much appreciate it.
Everybody in my neighborhood that says hello, please give us a like. I know we talk on the streets, or someday maybe we'll get you to talk in here. And all the people that say, hey, you know, if you're ever looking for a guest, we're going to say we haven't got around to doing that yet because you got to be prepared. It's not you're going to come on and yell and say whatever you want to do like we do on the street. It's you actually have to be prepared, people.
That's it.
You know what I'm saying? I've had a couple of people ask me about that, and I shake their hands and go, yeah, okay. And I keep on moving. And nobody has to know who they are because I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings.
Well, if they're listening, they know.
What's that? How do they know? Which one? You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah, I should be careful. Shut up, Cruz. In any event, Steven, thanks once again for the trivia. It's always great. I want to shout out to our American friends who I hope they have a fabulous long weekend. It is Memorial Day, and God bless America. And we still love them regardless of the politics of North America. Anything else you'd like to bring to the table, bro?
That's just about it. My name is Andrew Milani.
Hi, my name is Cruz, and what do? We
keep the vibe alive. Do you have a question? We'll answer it on the air. Send it to thehousethathappens@gmail.com. You can find us on Podbean, Spotify, YouTube, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Player FM, Podchaser, Boomplay, and SoundCloud. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at The House That Happens, and on X at House Happens.